It's time to talk some shit with Adam and Dan.
Welcome to the first ever Have a Weird podcast where we're letting some other cunt come on and try and be as funny as us.
Yeah. I mean, someone's going to have to play the straight man at some point, aren't they? There can't be three fucking bellends doing shtick. That looked like you were doing an advert for Iron Brew. Tell you what, since Adam's been full episodes on YouTube, he's gone very commercial. Have you got a secret sponsorship that you're not telling me about?
Actually, I don't know whether we'll be allowed to have that on camera.
Really?
Yeah. Elmhurst Spring as the zone water, I think we'll be okay with.
If anything sums up where we are in our respective careers, you getting sponsored by Iron Brew Extra, which is a fairly cool, I know it's a British company, but it's pretty cool.
It's also the colours of the podcast, isn't it?
It's the colours of the podcast. And then I'm sponsored by Asda Zone, still natural water. Bottled at Elmhurst Spring. Wicked. That's how my career feels. It feels like Asda Own. It really like, I'll do a job, but you'd be pissed off if you got it for Christmas. It's like a hamper. Asda hamper. No frills.
You're not Rice Krispies, you're Crispy Rice.
Oh, God. I love those knockoff.
Choco Flakes.
Love those knockoff fucking brands. They're quality, aren't they? Like when you go on holiday in Tenerife and they've got all the fucking Bacardi, Smirnoff, Malibu. And you're like, can I have like whatever, double vodka? And they're like, yeah, you can. Schmelnikov comes out from under the thing. You're like, I feel like I've been lied to by your shelves.
When
Bermedi. Coconut drink.
Me and Jay went to Crete in September last year, post Edinburgh Festival.
It's very nice, Crete, isn't it?
No, it's hot and our hotel was nice, but in general, Crete looks like someone set a part of Greece on fire and didn't stay around to see what fucking damage they'd done.
I think historically that has literally happened to Crete. They've been shat on quite a few times. Most recently by the fucking Germans who treated them like shit. We went on holiday in Crete and we went to a bakery up in the hills, got a car, drove into the hills. Not a touristy spot, little village, beautiful, young German family in front of us, getting served in the...
There's an accent coming in, isn't there?
Yeah. No, well, no, they didn't. They were trying to speak English. They just wanted some rolls. And this must have been eggy because I was like 8 or 9 years old at the time, and I fucking noticed it. I must have only been like 10. The woman serving them was like, if you could shit in a roll discreetly, like under the counter, she definitely would have. And they were only a young couple. They had a small child, and it was so awkward. And just as they were leaving, you were like, oh, that. She was like, yeah, brada. Yeah, thank you. Like, nothing more could have said fuck off from my shop. And then as soon as we went, can we have some bread in our English accent? They were like, English! Oh! There was like fucking 3 rolls, a croissant being thrown in. And
why do you think they hated Germans?
Because the Nazis occupied Crete in like the Second World War and were fucking tyrants. Like, just dreadful.
That's really not like the Nazis. They normally really tidy and neat and look after everyone.
Hi guys, welcome. I know we have taken the island. There's a lot of bad things being said about us, but we're very friendly. And we will organize the leisure centers, and there will be soft play for everybody. Unless you're a Jew, okay. But yeah, we got this amazing level of service, and the German family was still in the shop. And I remember as a kid being like, dude, don't make it so awkward. Let them at least leave before you lick our asses.
You know your country's fucked up in the past if British people behind you are welcomed. Do you know what I mean? Like, British people have such a shit reputation all over the fucking world. And there's like 2 or 3 countries where they're like, you're more of a cunt than the British.
Yeah. And I think as well that
I love Germans. I think Germans are quite sound. I think they're sort of like...
They are.
Overcorrecting. Do you know what I mean?
They are so like us genetically as well. Like we're basically Anglo-Saxons, aren't we? We're a Germanic people. You know, when you look at like nationalities at the World Cup and you sort of look at the French and they look a little bit Gallic, and the Spaniards are very sort of, you can tell the sort of the genealogy is different. And then you look at Germans and you're like, that German team could definitely be the English team. Like, it's not, because we are very similar, and you meet Germans and they're well sound, but then in certain places in the world you're like, oh God.
Germans are doing what like I do when I've got too pissed and Jade's pissed off with me. You know, like the next day when I've been a fucking nightmare, I've come in, I've ate like a block of cheese straight from the fridge. I've opened 12 packs of crisps and finished half of them, left them all over the place. I've shit all over the bathroom. I've scared the dog. And the next day she's like, you're a dickhead. So like for that week, you're like on probation. And you have to like get her flowers, you do all the dishes, all the domestic stuff. I have to take care of fucking everything. I tidy everything. I do all the cleaning up. That's what Germany have had to still do since like the world wars.
70 years. Yeah. Like, let's start a union. We will give a lot of money to it, and the union will be between me and you, and we'll do a lot of cleaning of the shit in the bathroom, and we'll make friends with everybody, and we promise never to shit in the bathroom again.
Germany shagged all our sisters and is forever atoning for it.
Holy shit. I love going on holiday in places where they're not used to British people. Like we've been to Italy once, and you just sort of expect people to be like, oh God, fucking English tourists. But that only happens in basically Spain, Portugal, Turkey, Greece, where they're fucking useless. If you're in the Italian hills, they're like, oh, you're English. And it's the weirdest feeling to be like, we are English. Are they taking a piss?
Isn't it weird?
It's just because they've never had loads of tourists from there.
How like English, if you call someone, he's English, it sounds quite sort of posh and almost royal. But British is just the opposite, innit?
Does it?
We hate the British. The English. They like tea. They have nanas and tea cozies.
I think it's really, when you're gigging in Scotland or Wales and you say, this country, or you know what we're like, the British, you can feel the crowd being like...
I made that mistake at one of my...
English sounds nice, but we've pissed so many people off.
The Glasgow tour date, when I was like in this country, and I went, and I'm talking about Britain, not Scotland, and I got a boo, and I was like, look, we gave you the chance to fucking leave, and you said, no, shut up, you're ours forever. And you could feel like, it got a laugh, but there was people in the room like, I'm going to fucking stab this cunt in the
Glasgow.
break.
Mate, Glasgow are basically... Gigging in Glasgow is like being a German in a bread shop in Crete sometimes. Yeah, they're like, oh, is it? Especially when they've had fucking old Tommy Glasgow on before. You're like, what the fuck?
What's it like in G12 LF LFU? What the fuck was that?
Was that a Glaswegian postcode?
Yeah. That's what I was doing.
G12
G12 LFU. Oh, that streets really, especially numbers 12 to 26. Rough cunts around there.
Oh, a bit of local. Oh, the old local.
Anyway, went on holiday to Crete with Jake.
Good point. That was my fault.
And you know, you talk
that
about
happens a lot, doesn't it? That really happens a lot.
Well, the massive spiral.
Because if you've got two knobheads with ADD. You're trying to do Glaswegian postcodes and I'm trying to do like the Nazi occupation of Crete. And you're just like, I just had a story about a holiday, Dan. Look at you trying to get your fucking Iron Brew sponsor in. Yeah, if you're ever in G12 LFU, fucking Iron Brew Extra. Can you really feel the flavour in that, Adam? And if you're ever on a fucking council estate in Runcorn, try Asda's.
Elmhurst Spring.
Oh, I can taste the tap. Elmhurst Spring, mate. It's just
We've managed to get the flavour of a mug into the water. We went when.
How was your holiday? Have you ever been on holiday in Crete, Adam?
Yeah, just once. We nearly got killed by 6 dogs, and it was when you mentioned before, like the shit ale. Like I was drinking from breakfast. I was drinking just beer from breakfast until I went to sleep every day. And not one day did I even get tipsy. Not even like a little bit. Just not at all. And it was a nice hotel as well. Like when you do that, like the airport drop-off route, you transfer, right? Me and Jade thought for a minute we'd booked a really bad holiday because we're driving from the airport through Crete and we're stopping at these hotels going, oh my God, look at the fucking state of this place. This is terrifying. Like there was like smackheads and everything outside the hotels and like stray dogs and shit. I'm like,
hang on. Cretan smackheads?
Yeah.
Or British smackheads?
No, Cretan.
How well is the UK doing that? Like, right, we're doing package orders for smack. We'll pick you up near the bins.
Yeah, it was terrifying. We were like, this is not a holiday resort. And then we pulled up at this hotel and we were like, oh my God, this is a good one, isn't it? Like, you'd be lucky if you'd book this. And they went, Rowe and Laycock. And me and Jay were like, because we hadn't like overly researched it. We booked it like the week before.
Yeah.
And really nice hotel. 4-star, cheap as fuck, because Crete's on its ass.
What a great way. What a really aggressive, competitive way to book holiday. Where have you booked your holiday this year? Well, we've got a full fucking all-inclusive 210 quid in fucking Mozambique, mate. And that's not a euphemism. We're literally going to Mozambique. We're in the Royal Palace. It's fucking quality.
It was like 350 quid each for a week, all-inclusive, at a 4-star hotel.
What?
Yeah.
350... Hang on. 350 quid, all inclusive.
4 stars.
Right. You still celebrating it?
What's wrong? Why are you surprised by that?
That just sounds
a good deal.
It's suspiciously cheap.
Exactly.
It's one of them online when you'd be like, no, I don't trust that.
Sonitas, Crete, Sonitas. What you want to do? You book your holidays where there's fucking economic depression because they are fucking throwing the ale at you, lad.
Oh my God. It's the most depressing way to spend your holiday. Yeah, we stayed in the hotel, on the property, because if you went on the streets, there's children crying, there's beggars. There was a bit of there was gunfire, but 350 quid all in.
Not one day did I get pissed. And I said to the bartender, what's the percentage volume on these beers? And he goes, like Carling. And I went, what? He goes, same as Carling, or very similar. And I was like, you haven't got a fucking clue, have you? This is 1% alcohol. This is like Ben Shaw's shandy that you fucking put in your taps.
Shandy Bass. What did you actually find out what percentage it was?
No.
Isn't that kind of good though? Isn't that so? If you're gonna drink from breakfast to like supper, if you're literally brushing your teeth with the fucking house lager, isn't it good that it just ticks you over? Otherwise, you're going to be fucking mullered by like 1:15 in the afternoon.
No. First of all, that's what you're going on holiday for.
No, but I mean, I like getting drunk, but it's not a fucking... Like, if you're in an all-package holiday, like, all-inclusive, you're there for a week with your missus.
But I didn't
You don't want to be like trying to
tipsy.
fight...
It gave me no high.
Oh, right.
So it was like just drinking pint after pint of Diet Coke all day.
In fact, you'd have been more buzzy off a full, like, that much caffeine. Like,
exactly.
Every night at tea time, Adam's like, yes, mate, get the fucking bread rolled.
It was like they'd just got beer-flavoured fizzy water and put some food colouring in it. Shite. And then we went for a walk one night, and there was like 4 dogs on the beach, and there was some people, so we assumed the dogs were with the people. And then we took like this little off the beaten track, like there's a bit of trees in that. And the dogs followed us. And we thought we were going to get fucking mauled. Like, one of them was like wolf-like, like a big husky-looking fucker. And then the 2 little ones and one, like, muscly one. And then they were bullying another dog. And Jade was like, we've got to save it. I was like, we've got to get out of here. Daft con. This is natural selection.
Mate, they went to school with each other, them dogs. They've known each other years. You don't know what's happening.
It was like, I was like keeping a brave face, and so was Jade. But I was like trying to protect her. I was like, babe, come on, we need to go this way. And she's like, yeah, but what are they? I was like, come on. No, come on. Look, they obviously know each other, and it's a park, and maybe that's the run, but you don't want to get involved in animal politics like that. And we got onto the street, and I was like, are you fucking messing me? They could have fucking killed us.
Oh, did you? What? So you kept it friendly in front of the dogs within earshot?
Yeah.
Right. Because the foreign dogs understand like domestic disputes between couples.
They understand aggression, don't they? And noise.
Right. I'll say this right now. This feels controversial. I fucking hate foreign dogs.
Right.
I hate all foreign animals. As soon as I'm abroad, I'm like, I don't trust you. I've been chased by literally a golden retriever in fucking Portugal. I went for a really ill-timed jog. Do you know when you've been on holiday, you're like, oh, fat and sweaty. And then you get in your head like, no, we're there for 10 days. On about day 4 of day 5, I was like, I'm just going to go for a bit of exercise. Golden retrievers, am I thinking of the right dog? Like Labrador looking, like, they're like the cutest, most friendly family dog in Portugal. It was almost like, it looked like a golden retriever, and it had like the black eyes of a shark. And I got chased down a fucking grubby lane in Portugal.
How old were you?
37. It was a year before last. 9-year-olds going jogging. What kind of fucking knob? I know I'm a knobhead, but I wasn't that much of a knobhead at 9. Like, guys, mum, dad, I'm just a bit worried about my, cholesterol. My BMI is a nightmare. I'm off jogging with a little Fitbit. Get back in your fucking room, you weirdo. Yeah, I just don't like foreign dogs or squirrels. Foreign squirrels can fuck off as well.
What about British squirrels?
British squirrels are sound. I know I sound like a squirrel Brexit supporter, but I think, honestly, I'm not even like anti-grey squirrel. Everyone's like, oh, red squirrels are majestic, beautiful. These fucking grey squirrels come over here eating our nuts. I don't give a shit.
A grey squirrel's not just old red ones.
What? Please tell me that was banter.
I thought they were just dead old. What, they've gone grey?
No, mate, I love it. You don't think... No, I'm calling the bullshit bell. Honestly, there was just a second where I genuinely thought you actually believe that. I thought, haven't they just got really old? Like a foreign cat. Foreign cats. When you're at a restaurant on your holidays and then you hear like... Which is not like... It's not like they speak a foreign cat language. It's like, I'm dying. They're awful.
Have you ever been for a massage? It is.
What's in your fucking Iron Brew sponsor?
It's not.
You went to trying to bang me really quick.
It's not like completely.
Go on.
It's a tangent. It's not a right angle.
No, I like it. On holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like a massage.
I like a massage as well.
Okay. Do you? Where's this leading to? Come on, let's be quick. We've got a guest coming on.
Got a massage in Crete on because we stayed at the Atlantica at Key
Oh, yeah, I've heard of it. yeah, I've heard of it.
And they have a spa like on site, and it's like a popular spa. People come from other hotels for it because it's fucking a doozy. So we booked a couple's head and scalp massage and then a full body one afterwards. What?
Head and scalp?
Yeah, you just play with your hair for a bit.
No, I'm not into that.
Yeah, well...
Back, shoulders, and then that's it. I haven't ever had anything else.
You never had a happy ending? You have?
No, honestly, I've really not.
There was a gap there. I'll never believe you.
No, in my head, I feel like you go, you have! I was like, in my head, I think I was going to go, I would.
Yeah.
But I've only ever had a massage from a Chinese guy in Headingley and Leeds. That would have been really awkward.
How do you feel about it being a man? You got any problem with that at all?
He fucked me up, man. It was great. Do you know when you meet a girl and I like it a bit rough? And sometimes as a man, I'm like, oh, that must feel really weird. He was like very like diminutive Chinese guy, and he was like, okay, 5 man. A really strong Leeds accent.
Right, okay.
I'm from Butler. Yeah.
What's he saying?
I'm from Butler in Leeds.
I don't know why, but for some reason I thought you were singing Frere Jacques. And then you go,
I don't know if you know this about the Chinese community. I'm from Leeds, Chinese heritage. Frere Jacques. He got in there. Afterwards, I fucking hobbled away. I mean, if he'd have tried to wank me off, that would have been fucking brutal. And I was whinging to Laura going, he's hurt me more than anything. 2 days later, my back felt fucking amazing. So I'm into it. So I'm totally behind you. I'm into it.
Me and Jade first went for a massage together in Edinburgh when she come to visit me at the Edinburgh Festival. And for the first 20 minutes, I thought like I'd accidentally booked an MMA bout because she was just had this fucking 3-foot Chinese woman on me back with a knee in the middle of me spine going, is this too much pressure? I was like, yeah, but that's what you weigh. What? You can't fucking change that. When we went to the Atlantica thing, and these 2 girls, and they were dead fucking rude. It was like they were pissed off that they had to do it. And we noticed during the massage, they were just texting. So one of them, like when you ask your missus for a massage and she's like, oh, I can't be asked. And you're like, well, I'll do something for you. And then she's like, okay, go on. And she just does it with one hand, can't be asked, just nah.
Oh, no.
That's what it was like. And we paid £100 for it.
You can't do it properly while texting. Also, I'm insecure that in my head, they'd be like, oh, he's got a fat back.
They were definitely doing that.
This fat back.
Because they went like, they were dead quiet, but then one of them would like do a little stifled laugh. They were definitely, because I've got a hairy back as well, like, but only in patches, and I reckon they were talking about that.
Oh, come on, babe. That's not on, is it?
So we complained and we got a second massage for free, but then a man did it, and I was like to Jade, I feel a bit weird, and she was like, you're being homophobic, and I was like, no, I'm not, I just feel weird having a man have his hands all over me.
I just don't want no gay ball fucking... No, yeah, you're right, it is a bit... It's better though, isn't it?
Oh, it was fucking great, yeah. I nearly loved him.
I tell you this right now, and I stand by this. If you're going to get touched by a human, you want it to be a man, don't you? I think that's what we're,
And there's no context ever word.
If you were going to have a stranger rub you, no, I've had on the beach in Spain, like a lady come up and go, massage. And I've been like, oh, fuck it, hungover enough. I love being hungover at the beach. There's something about holiday hungover where it doesn't count. You know when you're hungover and you're at home and you're like in your bed and you're like, oh God, and then you're downstairs and you're trying to watch something on TV and it's all something so much better about being hot and like next to the sea and then there's a breeze.
It's because...
And then you can go in the sea and just wash it all off.
One of the worst bits of a hangover is that you've got to face real life.
Yes.
While you feel like that on holiday. It's just like, yeah, I feel like shit, but I can just go and walk in the beach and you've got no real problems on holiday, have you?
Something about the sea, just like submerging, the coldness of it. Oh, love it. Could go again. Can you drink day after day? I really struggle with that. But on holiday, you're just like, yeah, fuck, of course.
I used to be able to just drink day after day constantly. I really struggle now because I have a 2-day hangover. And if I have a big one, that first day of hangover is horrendous.
Illness. Proper illness.
Yeah, I don't know anyone in the world who feels worse than me that day. Like, there's people with, like, who are in the last 6 months of palliative care.
What the fuck?
Who would be like, he's fucked him.
People ringing your next of kin.
Yeah.
We're going to bring a priest in. That's when you know you suffer with a hangover when
and Jade can smell it when I'm in that, and I see it in her eyes. She's got a fucking evil streak, this cunt, She looks
Jesus
Christ. she has.
It's still so aggressive when you say I've been doing a podcast with you for nearly 7 months, and when you call Jade, I'm like, oh God.
She doesn't like it either.
No, it's a surprise, that, isn't it? A lot of women are like that. Fucking weirdos. Even the ones that are giving you a massage. Come on, you con. Get in there. Hurt me.
Oh, yeah. When she sees that I'm properly hungover, I can see her, the cogs go turn. She's like, how can I? It's like she has to make the hangover day the same level of miserable as she thinks the night out was enjoyable.
Wow. She tries to balance your chi.
So, like, she'll look at me. She'll see how many photos, how many, like, Instagram stories I put up. Dancing and singing, how many photos I'm tagged in with my mates, and she'll weigh that up and she'll look at how fucked I am and she'll be like, so he's had about 17 drinks and he's in this photo, he's in there, he's smiling there, he's hugging his mate there. That's a nice one. That's really good. I think today I'm gonna make him come to IKEA, the Range, and a big B&M, and she can just
right.
And then she'll be like, I think we should start a diet. And I'm like, are you fucking? She'll make me have a salad or something.
You're literally in your 19th bag of cheddars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has she ever taken you to her parents hungover? Because I honestly feel like that's a type of torture.
I don't think she's that stupid.
All right.
Because I think she wants me to suffer. But if her parents seen me, if her family seen me on a genuine hangover, I think they'd have to have an intervention with her and be like,
but
can you be with that, really?
Look, Jade, you can't get us a cup of tea. That's not what you want to say in a parent's house. Oh, God.
I can't do a cup of tea when I'm hungover either. I love tea and I love coffee if I'm hungover. I want fizzy, sugary shit.
Yeah, cold, fizzy, sugary shit.
And Ribena.
Fuck me. We're meant to be going away to Mallorca at the end of September, and I'm starting to question whether that's happening. I got those refund things. For some reason, I know everything's opening up, but I just thought things would be more sound than they are now. Like today, they've just started making us wear masks in shops, and have you seen loads of shops that have said they're not doing it? What?
Like Sainsbury's put a statement out going, we're not going to enforce it. If you're in our shop without a mask, we're going to assume you've got a genuine, like, physical complaint. and you can't do it.
What's the I know we don't really get political very often, but I think this is more about lives and we're living our lives, aren't we? What's the medical complaint? Is it asthma? Is it basically asthma?
Yeah, I went shopping a couple of weeks ago when we were building this place, and I wanted to get like a couple of these trinkets for the shelves and stuff. Trinkets.
No man can sound masculine saying trinket. I will fucking fracture your skull with this trinket.
And I took a mask with me. Jade asked me to, and I was like, okay, like, you know, I'm not going to die on that hill. I'll wear a mask in the shops, even though the government haven't enforced it yet. Whatever. But I've got asthma, and it's quite bad. Like, you'll notice sometimes on the podcast, I push the mic away and just take a deep breath. Like, away from that.
I always think that's just me giving you a panic attack.
Sometimes it is.
Yeah.
It's a combination of the two.
Nice.
But I've had quite bad asthma since I was a kid, on and off. Like, sometimes I go through a phase where I need my inhaler off for like 6 months, and then for 2 years I can go and I don't touch it. But when I had that mask on, it does really affect my breathing. So there's a big argument online at the minute. There's a load of people who are like, I'm not wearing a mask because I've got asthma and everyone can go fuck off. This is a free country. I'll do what the fuck I like. And then there's people on the other side who are like, well, actually, you've got to wear a mask because it's not about you. It's about everyone else, and we're trying to protect the vulnerable. So you will wear a fucking mask at all times, you selfish piece of shit. Don't go pretending that it fucking affects your breathing, because it fucking doesn't. Because I know, because my nan once played bingo with a woman whose son has asthma, and my nan would tell me if it affected anything, and it fucking doesn't. And both of those groups are fucking idiots, and it's driving me mad. This legislation or guidance or whatever has been brought in to protect people. So you've got to wear a mask to protect other people. While you're in shops, put the mask on. If you start struggling to breathe, leave the shop. And there'll be people going, oh, well, that means that if I've got asthma, I've got less rights than everyone else. Yeah, it does. You've got a physical ailment, and it means that your life is slightly harder than everyone else. You don't see people in wheelchairs going, don't put any fucking escalators up there, useless to me. I don't want to have to fucking get in the lift. Well, you do, because you're in a fucking wheelchair.
It's just a temporary measure. It's just
stupid.
Anyone who uses the argument, like, and I understand that people feel like it's an infringement of their rights. Like, they don't like the idea that a government who, frankly, they don't really trust because of everything that's gone on. Some things they've got right, something they've discrepancies. It's been a bit up and down, hasn't it? To now turn around and go, this is bullshit. This is really infringing on my, liberties. You're like, mate, they've just shut shops for 2 months. You can't go to Nando's. That's where you're like, I get you don't want to be told to wear a mask, but you get told to not smoke indoors. You get told to do all sorts of things. It's just a temporary measure that governments are allowed to take. The bigger picture is, if we all refuse, and maybe you're like, well, scientifically, there's proof that it's bullshit. Like, okay, well, there's obviously some evidence that it's not bullshit. Put it on. Let's see if it works, and maybe we'll be able to keep shopping. Maybe Nando's will be able to open so we can go and have our tea.
Or don't put it on and order your stuff online and shut the fuck up.
But the argument that it's like it's really infringing on my liberties, you're like, mate, we've just all lived through a massive shutdown where we were told to not leave our house. There are worse versions of our civil liberties being taken away. Put a fucking mask on. I just don't get it. I get the asthma angle. But from a lot of the stuff I've heard, it's just people being, I think it'd be very uncomfortable. One woman rang in LBC radio and was like, I don't think I'd like to go to John Lewis for 2 hours. She kept saying John Lewis, and it was so fucking annoying. Obviously,
you just know if you spend 2 hours in John Lewis, then you're a bellend, aren't you?
Mate,
John Lewis is for when you need one specific thing and it's out of stock everywhere else. You've checked Argos, you've checked the other gaff, you've checked this place. Amazon can't get it to you for 3 weeks, and you're like, do you know what? John Lewis will have that one thing.
Or you want to spend a bit of money on like lamps. We were looking at lamps, and Laura found one in John Lewis. Exactly. you're willing to spend a bit more. No one's doing the fucking big shop. The like 2 hours is just basically you perusing to fill your time. She was like, I don't think I could go to John Lewis for 2 hours. I think I'd feel uncomfortable. What the fuck? Who fucking needs to go to John Lewis for 2 hours? The staff must be looking at, who's this nonce?
Darling, do we still have toasters? We do. We don't need new toasters. What about kettles?
Expensive kettles.
What about this £90 kettle? Wouldn't this look good in the Arga?
Darling, I know we spent £85 on a kettle.
What's an Arga?
In the Arga?
Yeah.
That was quality.
What's an Arga?
I'm really, I've never owned an Arga.
Is it like a larder?
What? What?
I thought an Arga was like a fancy version of the cupboard under the stairs.
No! You've just made the sounds. Yeah, it's a larder and an Arga. It must be the same thing. No, it's like an old style posh stove and cooker. And it's got a permanent. My mate Sean's dad was minted when we were growing up. Everyone's got we had one mate who was minted, came up from nothing, basically sold potpourri in massive amounts, bought it from China and then sold it to all these touchy-feely shops, made a fucking mint, sold his company. His house was wicked. When we slept over at Sean's house, the first hour was like, fucking hell. And they had an Arga and it had a permanent hot grill. So you put your bread in between these two metal flaps and then put it in, and it just took about 20 seconds and you had the best hotel quality toast. They're just basically posh cookers.
Hotel quality toast. In my experience, hotel toast is like the worst toast in the world.
I strongly disagree, and I don't.
That little fucking
if you spend
baggage claim thing that they have.
If you spent more than 360 quid on your all-inclusive holidays, you get a better standard of toast. Now that's where the fucking savings happened on the toaster. I love it where it's like really high-powered toaster, and it goes through. It's something about it, like
the conveyor belt thing.
Yeah, I love the conveyor belt toast.
They don't toast it enough.
What?
You have to put it through twice.
You could turn it up though, couldn't you? If it was your personal conveyor belt toaster.
Maybe, yeah.
You looked at me like we were really going to fall out of all the shit that we say. We've done 80 odd fucking episodes of this podcast, and you looked at me like, the fuck are you saying about toast? Yeah, John Lewis, just stick your face mask on. Go and look at your fucking Arga or your larder and just stick a face mask on.
Right.
Shall we?
I think
we've got a new sponsor, haven't we?
We've got a brand new sponsor.
Let's have a word from our new sponsor.
It is manscaped.com. You'll hear the advert that we have pre-recorded in just a sec. Please support this one for us because this is a test. They've only agreed to sponsor us for this one episode for now. And if they make a few sales, then they'll sponsor us long term. If you are after any male grooming products, their range is amazing. Please go and check them out at manscaped.com. Our code word is in the following advert. Please listen to it, and we'll be back after the advert break with our first guest. Who is it, Dan? Who we got?
It's Mr. Paul fucking Smith, mate.
One of the biggest acts in the country, and
very
one of
exciting,
the fucking biggest idiots I've ever met in my life.
One of the king lids. He's lid royal family, isn't
he? He's the king of Liverpool comedy, the ginger king of comedy in Liverpool.
Yeah,
and I'm coming for this fucking crown, mate.
I'm the king of Preston comedy. Yay!
That was a fucking tight competition, that wasn't it?
Preston comedy is to fucking National Comedy what Asda Stillwater is to drink sponsors. Right, let's have a break. Check out this new pube trimmer, which PS is fucking exceptional.
He sent us one, didn't he?
Oh, mate, I've been having a go.
I've had a go. And the ball deodorant. Oh!
I've been doing it on my face. I've used it for my beard. It's amazing for you. It's like so precision on my beard.
It's a good job they sent us one each, innit? Because if I'd have used it first and then sent it to you.
Oh, Laura's going to have this on her pubs. And I'm all for it. She needs some fucking landscaping work down there.
It's not called womanscaping.
Oh, is it? Is it? Yeah.
It's Adam and Steve, not Adam and Eve, lad. I don't know what I'm saying. I need a break. Fuck off. What's happening, guys? Today's episode is brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped are the best male grooming products on the planet. They've only just launched in the UK. They've sent me and Dan a razor each, and I've got to say, proper top tier stuff. This is the best razor I've ever used. It's the first time I've ever shaved me balls and not snagged the bag. They're good, aren't they?
I get the little, I get a little bit of like over the pubes tub and I nicked that. I've just been using an old head trimmer. I've used this and you're like, oh, that's a slide, that's a glide, so you don't get that sting in the shower.
Yeah, it's horrible, that. When you get like a little cut on your bag and then you get a bit of ball sweat seeping into the cut and you get sweaty sting.
Keep talking sexy, Adam. That's why Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. This is it. They've engineered the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created. It's the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0, and it's just been released in the UK. It's smart as fuck. This is their 3rd generation trimmer. It features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce manscaping accidents.
And when I'm saying this is the best razor I've ever used, I'm not messing, you know. I know it's easy to say that when you're getting sponsored by a company, but it's really, really, really good. The battery's amazing. It lasts for an hour and a half, so you can shave for longer. It's water resistant. You can use it in the shower. You don't have to be shaving, stood over the toilet anymore. It's sick.
One of the coolest features is the LED light. It illuminates the way as you shave along so you don't get any nasty nicks. And they've just got an upgraded 7,000 RPM quiet stroke motor. The nicest bit, you get a load of kit when you get this sent to you, but the charging stand is charged by USB and it looks sleek as fuck. So you're not getting any whinging from your partner, your missus. It's going to sit in the bathroom. You're going to be proud of it.
Look, don't take our word for it. If you're listening to this, watching it, pause the podcast here. Go and order one for us. And they don't just sell razors. You can get all sorts of male grooming products from manscaped.com and experience it for yourself. It's really, really good. Your balls will thank you.
This is the important bit. Every listener of Have a Word gets 20% off. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code WORD. That's WORD, W-O-R-D, at manscaped.com. And make sure you use that code, otherwise they won't know that we sent you.
That's right, 20% off, free shipping all over the UK and in America, actually. But you can use the code WORD. WORD, that's W-O-R-D. We should have picked a different word, because code word just sounds clunky, doesn't it?
You're not thick. You get it. Word.
It's word. Time to shave those balls.
Should I shave yours now? Adam, should I shave yours? We'll just do that now. We'll show you. Oh, don't. You meant to flinch. Perv. Fuck me.
That was so fucking annoying. It's weird having our guest in for the first time, and I don't think I've ever been this stressed about to start the podcast.
Honestly.
It's going to be some angry energy.
Volley in that camera there, you know.
We still don't know what the fuck is the problem with it, though.
Anyway, it's working.
Ah, yeah.
I've got Paul Smith here, ladies and gentlemen. For those who don't know who Paul Smith is, you know, he's served his time.
What? Sounds like you were struggling to do it. He's all right.
Just got out of prison.
He's local.
I was doing a prison
Everyone
joke.
deserves
I was
a
going to
second
introduce him as a full-blown paedophile. Remember when you did that to me?
Yeah, I was going to say, you've never got over that, have you?
No.
Thanks for coming in, Paul, and thanks for putting up with a few technical fucking glitches that he actually fixed. Yeah, thanks. Nice one, Paul. Lads, do you want to look at that? Oh, yeah,
Fucking
cheers.
cameras weren't working. We're going to have to get them into a shop, lads, and have them have a look at it. Have I told you about that?
Good.
What?
What he did to me? Like, at the start of our relationship. So I'd known him.
The way he tells this story is not technical. Already I can sense that it's not going to be factually accurate.
Right.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, you tell your version of it.
I'll tell the real version.
Okay, so here's what happened, right? Hot Water Comedy Club, the early years, were in Envy. It's just a Sunday open mic night at the minute.
I feel like I lived through Envy, you know. I've heard about fucking Envy so much.
Because it's where I started.
The game.
Fucking doesn't stop banging on about the hyena.
It's fucking church, that.
Davy Jones was there. He was teaching us how to fuck kids.
We had a microphone made of wood. People come from all the fucking hamlets around.
He went on stage, and I was about 6 months in, if that. Less probably. And he goes on and he goes, this next guy, bit pissed off. I've got to introduce him, to be honest with you. You'll all recognise him. He's been on the front of the Liverpool Echo, you know, really bad lad. What he did to those kids was really wrong. And clap if you want, but I wouldn't. Here's Adam Rowe. And I went on and fucking stunk the place out. Had the worst gig.
You'd be able to deal with it.
I was literally 6
Yeah, but
months
you know
in.
what he's like? He's a cocky twat, and so I thought, he'll just bounce off this.
Yeah, it's one of them where you're
I
like,
did a week later.
I know.
Do you remember that? A week later, he did it again, but I knew he was going to fucking do it.
Here's where the facts fall apart. I did do it again, so he's kind of admitted the truth.
No.
What happened was he come back in-
he's our guest.
He
He's our
come
guest.
back in and went,
Fuck the guest, mate. It's
he
my
come back in
podcast.
and went, hey, can you do that what you done again
No.
last week?
Didn't
He
happen.
got away
Didn't
and
happen.
written a fucking response.
It didn't happen.
It fucking did.
No.
And
What happened was-
he went, well, that's what happens when you shag the compe's sister. And I went, hey.
Right.
he's lightning. Give him a week.
Right. No, what happened was he did it a second time, trying to fuck me up again.
nah.
I did that.
Not true.
Smashed it.
not
Standing ovation at the end. People carried me out the gig. And then a couple of weeks later, I went back to do it again, and I went, hey, lad, introduce me like a cunt again, because I can open with that line. And he fucking wouldn't do it for me.
No, when you meet someone and you, as a comedian, you can tell if you rate them, if they're going to be able to get those sort of jokes. It's a nice thing. Yeah. Weirdly, people listening will be like, what an awful thing to say about someone. But as a comic, that's like, you're sound. You're going to be sound. Because if you didn't trust someone or you didn't like them, you'd never go, honestly, this guy's a nonce.
I remember it happening, and I was laughing my head off, don't get me wrong. But like in my head, I was like, oh, fuck, that was bad, that. Like, I honestly thought he'd go on and just... Because
They believed him.
I'd never seen him do bad. Like, and I thought, all right, well, I'll see what he's got. I'll test him a little bit, and it did not work out.
It's only funny afterwards if everyone's done well. If you go, this guy's a nonce, and the whole crowd are like, it's disgusting. Why would you hurt children with your penis?
But they did believe him.
Yeah,
Like, I walked on.
Yeah.
And because I did,
you do look a bit noncy as well.
Look like a nonce, especially back then.
I reckon I look the least noncy in this room. He's got his big muscles to entice them in. You've got your glasses and your fucking...
I don't reckon you do. You look like a trucker.
Yeah, I look like I fuck women against their will. I don't...
How old are the women?
It's not children. I'm not a monster.
Because you got makeup on doesn't make them women.
You look like a trucker. A long distance nonce.
Yeah. But because I didn't know how to handle it, I just walked on to that introduction and was like, so I'm Adam, I'm from Dovecot. And there's like 70 people there.
The worst thing was, his first joke was about his uncle being a nonce, right?
I don't think I was still doing that
I
then.
think you were, Uncle Charlie. And
Uncle Charlie.
What year, so hang on, what year did you started in 2010?
Yeah.
When did I meet you? I was trying to work it out on the way over here. I was like, is that about 2005, 2004?
No, I started 2006.
Right.
Oh, well, December 2005, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think I met you till like 2007. I think I met you doing I don't know if it was Beat the Frog or Baby Blue. I think.
Yeah, I think I came over
doing one of them.
Yeah. You are a different looking fucking Paul Smith from the lad I met in 2007.
From the goth who had straight hair.
To
fucking Mr. Universe.
Fucking hell. Doesn't it feel, when you start out, you're a young kid, and it like, now we're like, when did we meet, Paul? Back in 07. I remember it. Now I remember it now. Oh, Jesus Christ. Fucking hell. And now here we are, the three lids. Thanks for coming over to do it. We really appreciate it, because we've had that tech stuff to start off the the most important time we've ever used a camera, and we were both like, how'd you turn it on? And I said to Adam, it's like so good that we've got a mate in for them to not be like, you were looking at us like we're bellends, but at least we know you're our mate.
Yeah, and I already knew you were bellends.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Like, I think Paul takes one look at us and goes, they don't know how to work a fucking camera.
I am actually very impressed by this setup, to be honest. The fact that you put this together.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, my dad did it and we watched.
His dad was meant to come in and do a little bit of wallpapering, and by the end of like the second week, we're like, come on, Mick, this isn't getting fucking done without you, man. Is this the first thing you've done out of the Rona shutdown? Is this the first little glimpse
I've done a couple of little podcasts, but like mainly like on Zoom and stuff like that. I've done a couple of podcasts with people and stuff.
Fuck
Zoom. Yeah, this is the first time I've been in another place, I think.
In a little studio.
Well, I actually haven't given a fuck about it for about a month, so I've been visiting my missus in Torquay and shit.
You what?
I've been visiting my missus in Torquay, just going and chilling by the sea.
Have I told you that, like, because your missus is from Birmingham originally, and she's got such a thick Brummie accent.
Yeah.
I got confused, and I thought she was from Tamworth. right? Which is like not far from Birmingham, right in the middle of the country, innit? And then you started putting videos up on your Instagram where you're kayaking.
Do you think I was kayaking in Tamworth?
In Tamworth?
Tamworth by the sea.
What the fuck? Where's this?
Canal.
Yeah, he's gone surfing in Coventry.
How clear is the water in that canal? There's fucking jellyfish in it.
What's down there, though, innit?
Mate, it's unreal, you know. I did not know that there was places like that in this country. If the sun comes out, it's like fucking...
Would you ever move there?
I've got kids here and that, so I can't. But
Yeah, but like...
all else...
If social services ever get involved and they get taken off, would you go?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, don't move to fucking Torquay, because then there'll be hot water Torquay, and then it'll be like, Dan, I know you've put Liverpool in for the weekend, but can you put Torquay in? I'm like, no, because I don't give a fuck about kayaking, and I don't want
It's a nice drive though, straight run, 24 hours.
It's a nice straight run past Birmingham, which is always easy, isn't it? Past Tamworth by the sea. Oh, fucking hell. Torquay. I remember going there when I was 15 with my mate and his parents. Crazy. And got off with a girl and fingered her in a park. And it was like, I think it was...
that type of gaff, like.
Oh, it was middle of summer. Oh, just one of the first fingerings. Beautiful. Yeah. Hallowed days that you ruined with a finger.
I think you should move there as well.
What?
I think we should all
Should we all move to Torquay and just start a massive comedy scene down there?
I mean, I would never do comedy there again, to be honest, I don't think. Because I did a tour show there last year and it was one of the fucking worst things I've ever.
Why was it shit?
It was fucking awful. Because, right, Torquay's a mad place. Like, you go to Torquay, there's more scousers in Torquay than fucking Liverpool. It's crazy. And they're all like, just because it's the fucking last place on the train, and so every cunt who's on the run goes to Torquay. So there's all like loads of gangsters there. And like having a pint with them and that. Like every time I've been out there, you end up surrounded by like dodgy scousers who are dead sound. Do you know what I mean? So that's boss. But like when they're in a gig situation and there's fucking beak everywhere and that, those seaside towns, man, like just something about them. Like the worst gigs I've done has been like
Blackpool,
Torquay, Blackpool, Whitley Bay, Whitley Bay and shit like that. Just always fucking murder.
We've spoke about this on the podcast before. I would take a gig like that though, where there's literal fights in the audience, any day of the week over doing Rob Riley's gig in Lancaster ever again.
And if you don't know what we're talking about. Rob Riley's gig in Lancaster is infamous for just being a bit like, they literally stare at you like you're trying to do your stand-up in a fucking doctor's waiting room. They're like, we've just come for a prescription. It's what you're saying is you'd rather go mad as fuck rather than lifeless.
I don't mind going mad. When I did Whitehaven, the maddest one I done was Whitehaven, but everyone in the audience, there's 400 people and they were all on cocaine. They were doing cocaine in the audience. Like there's no one gives a fuck there because they're all rough as fuck, but got loads of money because they all work at Sellafield. So no one's like, there's no hierarchy there and like, I want to be a grafter or whatever. Just like there's one old woman who was in the crowd who sells all the cocaine to everyone. And she just always has, and no one bothers with her. So she's giving people...
She's walking around like it's chalk ices.
She waved at me. Everyone was like, this is her. And she's like, oh, yeah.
Right, we're going to have an interval.
People in the car telling me they've got guns and stuff. And I was like... But like, because everybody loved the chaos, I was like, well, I'll just bounce off this for an hour. If you don't want material, I'll just fucking call your old knobbits for an hour if that's what you want.
So do you think you have that with your fan base? Because like your fan base has almost exclusively come from crowd work, hasn't it?
Well, it has, but like 95% of the places, people do want to sit and watch the show, and you get these lovely theatres, and like people will sit and like some places you go to and expect it to be rough as fuck, like Glasgow, and they're just fucking beautiful. You know, like the bits where you've got to pause in your gag, and they're just sat there, and it's just you feel them just with you, and it's just amazing. But then some places you go and they just want it to be fucking chaos.
I remember the only tour show of Paul's I've seen was Newcastle, so I was at the stand doing gigs at the comedy club. And he was around the corner in Newcastle City Hall. And after I'd finished at the stand, I just went over to watch. And it was the night that fella threw a joint at you.
It was incredible, that, wasn't it?
Yeah. He literally said on stage, he was doing a story about like smoking weed. And he goes, so I was smoking weed. And as he finished the syllable with the D in, a fucking joint hit him in the chest. Because some jury had gone, yeah, mate, you're talking about
Unreal
weed.
Throw, though. It's not easy to throw a joint.
But hang on. He must have had that. Like,
Ready?
if you're
He must have been
stoned,
like that.
if you're stoned, surely you're not like, fucking hell, weed's been mentioned, like, fucking skin up and then flick it.
Yeah.
You're meant to be slower.
It was unreal.
He's had it ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy looks like he
100%
wants
ready.
a fucking bifter right on his tits.
And also, you're not throwing your only ready one, are you? So he had like 4 or 5 in his pocket.
Yeah,
there.
Newcastle's got a bit of the mental, but it's a big city. It's quite
I love
cultured.
Newcastle.
Glasgow's a
Yeah.
bit mental, but it's a big city. It's cultured. Those seaside towns are a different kind of crazy, aren't they? Like people talk about Aberdeen when it goes fucking weird, and
I think there's a lot of drugs in those places because there's fuck all else to do.
right.
Yeah.
So like everyone's just takes loads of drugs.
Everyone takes loads of drugs and then goes on the 2p machine in the fucking arcade.
Yeah, just staring at it for ages.
Just trying to win a fucking Dumbo Teddy on coke.
I'd be honestly.
Just getting it out, spending 65 quid on a £1 teddy bear and then talking to it for the rest of the night.
Cocaine and the fucking amusements.
Oh man.
Have you ever done a gig on coke?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that like?
Fine. Because I'm not low energy, am I?
Nah.
So I'm my height. Like I've had people after a gig where I wasn't on coke be like, because they know I've done it. I've gone, are you on something? I was like, no, I was just in a really good mood and bouncing around. If you're a deadpan comic and you're like, I don't know, fucking whoever you think, Anthony J. Brown's a deadpan comic from the circuit, and he's like stroking the microphone.
Yeah.
He's like, I have got a joke.
Creeps me
And
the
it's
fuck out when
been
he does
going
that, you know.
for 20 years. He can't do cocaine because he's going to be like, but I'm already bouncy. The times I've done it, I'm not proud of it, but it's back in the day. All you're thinking is don't sniff, don't sniff, don't sniff, because you know if everyone hears you sniff, they're going to think you're on coke, and none of this is happening. The crowd couldn't give a shit. They just want comedy and jokes, but in your head you're like don't sniff, and then you just go, which makes it worse. So it felt the same. It still worked, but I just had this internal narrative of like don't look like a smackhead, don't look like a smackhead. No one cares. I told you this, a gig where I'd been out on pills the night before. This is when I was like 23, just started out. Got there and it was one of those gigs where they're like, there's no microphone. I was like, oh God, I need it to be normal. I haven't slept. I'm coming down, and I was like, right, I'll have a bottle of Coke. I had a bottle of Coke and I was drinking it. And just because I was still a bit high and I hadn't slept and there was no microphone, I started doing the gig into the bottle of Coke. And every now and again I'd hear, as I sort of spoke over, and then in your head you're like, move the coke away, and you're like,
I've done that. I've done every gig I've done without a mic. I think I've found something to just hold. You don't need it. Or I've just like when the mic goes off for a gig.
Yeah.
Like that's happened a few times, and I'll still hold it there, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing it.
it's literally.
I find it so weird when comics do that. Like I've had the mic die a couple of times in hot water, like where it's just fucked off, and Binty's like in the sound booth, Binty the tech who owns the club, and he's like, I'll sort it in the break, so you just have to deal with it. I just put the mic down and just gesticulate with my hands. Yeah. But I remember, this is I don't even know whether you'll remember this. You did a gig for hot water at the Crown, and the mic went off.
Right.
And you literally about 4 or 5 times in your 20-minute set said, or like out loud, and I think it was meant to stay in, I need a mic. Because you were like walking with your hands and then you'd do a joke and it'd get a laugh. But before you started your next bit, you'd go, I want a mic.
You've got one hand flapping.
Yeah.
You said it's weird.
And you can't just stand there with that hand there.
No.
Or like that.
I gesticulate with both when I'm talking. So
I don't. I always have that hand fixed, and then I'm like, I'll use that.
You're doing a Wolf of Wall Street at every acoustic gig. Have you done the radio mic where it's all like, I think that looks proper noncy, when it's a skin-coloured cheek mic, and you think you're in steps?
Jack Whitehall style.
Yeah. I just don't think I'd be comfortable with that. I don't even like having a normal radio mic without a wire. I feel like untethered.
Yeah, also it's good security.
Yeah.
And it's just nice to know that that's such a like an old school thing of like, if it's plugged in, it definitely works. There's no batteries. It's just a nice thing to know that. Where's your favourite place? So of all the big tours, I know you love Liverpool and gigging in Liverpool. Where's been the place that on a tour you look forward to?
Dublin.
Dublin.
100% the best one.
Dublin.
It's just every time. The place is incredible. The theatre's incredible. They properly look after you, and it's just an amazing place. I love being there as well. When you get somewhere, like there's a couple of cities in the world where you just feel like you're at home. There's like some cities have good vibes. some cities that don't have good vibes.
It's a very scouse thing to think that are Dublin now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a thing.
Where do you feel at home? Other than Preston.
Stockholm.
Dublin, Glasgow and Newcastle, I feel real comfortable.
Yeah, same.
I'm just wondering whether that translates onto Preston. We have Coventry.
Preston's so nondescript. There's no culture.
Where are you, like, Nightingale? Where your ancestors from?
Didn't you do a bit about this?
I did a bit about it. We did Jeans Reunited and we got back to 1650 and they were 8 miles from Preston. In Samsbury. I did it on stage. I was like, that's fucking 370 years.
You've literally like spread your genes further than any generation. For
I'm literally like a fucking astronaut compared to my bloodline. Who've literally managed 370 years of going over there. Fucking pathetic.
Have you ever done anything like that? Do you know where Smith's from?
Yeah. Well, I go to my granddad on both sides, and it just goes to Ireland. I did Ancestry and got back to like about late 1600s, and then it's Liverpool, Ireland.
I haven't done anything like that.
You've got to be. Has he got to be Albanian?
I had a fucking nightmare with that though. I got a fucking phone call off TSB, right? And I was like, what? And they were like, you owe us £700, and I was like, no, I don't. And they were like, yeah, your bank account's become overdrawn, and you owe us £700. I was like, I haven't got a TSB bank account. You're incorrect. And they were like, you have, and I was like, I haven't. And they were like, and I was like, you know when you're fucking sure or something, and I'm like, my name's popular, you're fucked up here. Like, but, and then they were like, no, you took a bank account out. And I was thinking, oh, did you? Because years ago when I was with Helen, we just opened the bank account to just put money in together to get shopping and that. No, so it was, we could both have a card for it. It was just easier. And then it just never got used. So I just left it, right? And what I've done like a fucking arsehole one day is I've signed up to Ancestry.com. Not being able to find my bank card. This is about fucking 5 years ago. And just, you know, when you get the free trial, I've gone, I'll cancel that after 30 days and never cancelled it.
Could you imagine losing your house to Ancestry?
Taking over for 5 years.
It's like, so funny you bring that up. I had about 7 of them that I found yesterday or the day before because I've just sorted the new car out and like the insurance was a lot better than I expected. The payments on the car are slightly above what I expected. The expense going into hiring this new studio for every month, we're about to hire Carl as our producer. And I said to Jade, I just need to go through my bank. And you know, there's those little couple of things you have that are like £2 or £3 a month and you think, oh, that doesn't fucking matter. It's only a coffee or whatever. And you add them up. Experian.
Yeah.
I had 3 different credit score ones that are all £18 a month each. Experian, Clear Credit or Clear Score. And another one of them. I was still paying for Candy Crush. I was on Auto Live.
Fuck me, mate. You don't deserve to buy a house.
It's like £9 a month for Candy Crush.
What do you get for Candy? I don't understand.
More lives and all the weapons and that.
I felt bad for getting a top up or a boost on a game, but to have a direct debit.
I didn't set the direct debit up. I've clicked. Do you want 3 lives for a month? Yeah. After this, it will go on to 12 or whatever, and it's automatically done it. My dad's Sky bill, he hadn't fucking told me. I said, because my dad's credit's like fucking Greece, and mine's not much better. Sky were willing to give me the internet and a telly in his house on an introductory offer for a year for like £20 a month. My dad's obviously been getting letters to his house going, your bill's about to go up. So I'm fucking £90 a month for his Sky coming out of my... I just don't check my bank. Yeah. Our Virgin had gone up. I spent all day on the phone to Virgin and Sky, and they are the worst customer service people in the world because they both know that the other one is your only option, and they know their cunts as well. So they're like, doesn't matter if we're cunts. If he has to deal with them, he'll end up coming back to us anyway. I found so fucking many of them. I deleted about £90 a month off my monthly outgoings.
Oh, mate, I would never let that shit ride. I've deleted stuff.
I'm exactly like him, me.
Oh,
I've still got Experian. I know it's there, and I still haven't cancelled it.
I owe O2 $2.5 grand.
Fucking Candy Crush got bad that month, didn't it?
And I went on before I cancelled Experian.
How do you know?
I had a look at my credit score because I was like, I might as well fucking check it. I've never used it, and I've got 2 things that are ruining my credit score. They're both, you know, that like Lowell solicitors who like do like debt collection.
Cunt.
But it says like from when they default, they're on your credit for 6 years.
Yeah.
I've got to just dodge these cunts till January. Like,
Swear to God, I done that though. I done that. I fucked my credit when I was about 23, and I was just fucking because I got made redundant and shit. And I was just like, oh, I'll just after I started doing stand up, right? Literally, I'd been doing stand up for 3 months, and it was going all right. I'd done a few good open spots, and I was like, oh, I've been made redundant. This must be a sign. I'll just be a professional comedian. And then lived on credit cards for like a year, paying me rent and shit. It was fucking stupid, right? Got in loads of debt, and then I was like, I'm just gonna ignore that. And I ignored it for like 6 years, and it all went away. So that is a good.
Are you not in your
There's a
internet
life
banking?
lesson for the listeners there. If you got any problems, ignore it, it'll go away. Is your missus pregnant? Just ignore her, she'll go away.
Yeah, after 6 years. After 6 years.
Don't speak to her for 6 years. I guarantee she's not there anymore.
Paul Smith's life lessons. Hold your nerve for 6 years.
It's going to be hard. 5 years in, you're going to want to look.
Yeah.
But don't look. Don't open
That
the
last
letter.
year,
Just
like
move to Torquay. Just move to some seaside town. Do cocaine.
Keep getting shitty rented accommodation. Keep moving. And then when it's clear again, you can buy a house and then it's out.
Do you know when Jade found out how much of these debts I had a couple of years ago when we first went to rent a house? She went to me, why haven't you dealt with this? And I went, well, I got told if you move 3 times, they can't catch you. Right? And that was 100% true. 100%. In my head, the information I had was if you move out 3 times, that debt is essentially...
And I can imagine you fighting that argument. So, and Jade's like, that's bullshit. No, it's not, Jade. Yeah. It's fucking not.
That's exactly what happened. And do you know where I got it from? 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps.
I am so in my internet banking that I cancel things even if I'm like, what the fuck's this? I cancelled my granddad's emergency fucking pendant. I was like, I don't recognise this. It had only been going 6 months. That meant for 2 weeks, if he'd had a fall and been pressing that button, no one would have come. Because in my head I was like, what the fuck is 247 Lifeline? But I'm not having that coming out. Bullshit. And then they rang. They were like, "We've tested your granddad's line. You've cancelled your direct debit." I was like, "Right, could you do me a favour? Could you set that up without telling my sister?"
on the floor of the bog, fucking pulling it red from.
Literally. Nobody loves me.
How much did you save?
24 quid.
Kill this granddad for a fucking price of FIFA.
Oh, that's why you shouldn't fucking sign me into the fucking will. Dangerous game. Just move that mic closer to your mouth. Is that possible? Is it?
Yeah, sorry.
Even if it just means pulling the desk towards you a little bit, because you're very softly spoken, and we are so fucking loud. We did an advert for Manscaped before, and we were like, "It's really good for your balls." It's like full volume.
Oh my god! Have you got any left? Do you reckon?
Well,
like those things that you've just ignored?
Definitely. Yeah.
No, you've not.
Child maintenance is there. I haven't ignored that one yet. I'm all right with it now. Once I got it clear. If you know what, once I had a kid.
Does anyone else have the feeling like this is horrific? And Laura listens to the podcast, but in my head, I'm like, imagine if we fall out and I've earned this money and it's sat there. I just want something that she can't get at. Like, even though we've never had an argument, me and her are as sound a couple as I know of any of the people that are in couples. But I have this feeling like I want to buy gold and bury it in the garden.
Mate, well, I'll tell you some shit after this podcast. Because I met a billionaire and he gave me some very good advice.
Did he?
Very good advice. I mean, I haven't implemented any of it because it was too late. It was too late at that point.
The first thing he said was delete Candy Crush.
Yeah, my dickhead fucking my dickhead solution to it had already happened. So I was like,
did he tell you to move 3 times and then he can't catch you?
4 it was.
You'd be a fucking billionaire now.
That's all he done, and then they gave him. It's like a hack. They gave him £1 billion.
Everyone thinks it's free. It's 4.
Jeff Bezos has moved 12 times.
Oh,
clever, con.
Claire's accessories are after Jeff Bezos. Fucking earrings.
Bringing him down. He's into stocks and shares. Weren't you buying water or something? Or was that the guy from...
I was going to buy oil, wasn't I?
Mate, I bought, was that because of Blair?
In our group chat, we were talking about it. I mean, like oil was hit down at like 6-7 points, and
What is this? Your WhatsApp group?
yeah,
Mate, you make out that WhatsApp group is like just daggers out the worst shit ever, and you're talking about oil prices.
yeah.
That's because when lockdown happened, Paul Blair, because he's a fucking just one of them people, isn't he? He just goes, I'm just gonna have a little go of this, and made about fucking 30 grand in a week.
He bought shares in Mackey's. He bought shares in Mackey's when
it was closed.
He made it look
While it was closed,
because he made it look so fucking easy, and so I was like, I'm gonna have a go with that. I'm gonna do that. It's free money, that shit, innit? Because the stock market was on its ass. So I went and fucking threw like loads of money on Bitcoin, and then I was watching it, mate, and it just went fuck off, and I was like, oh no, because you set like when you go on these apps, you set like a stop loss. Do you know what I mean? So you don't fucking completely like tank yourself. But then I got close to it and I was like, don't sell at that because it'll just automatically sell. And it was like half my money and I was like, oh my God. And then it went back up and then it come back down and it was just so volatile and I just couldn't do anything but sit on my phone looking at this fucking graph. And Blair loves all that, but that's not for me, that shit.
Hang on, you went Bitcoin, he went McDonald's.
Well, he started on Bitcoin and that was like fucking, and then he diversified into like fucking loads of he was like, he become a day trader for about half an hour, didn't he? He's like fucking, he's looking at airlines going, I reckon they're going to get bailed out here, so I'm going to fucking get in here. And I'm like,
I don't mind that. If I was going to trade, I'd want to know what we were talking about Jeff Bezos the other day. It makes sense that he's going to be a trillionaire because you know his shop is massive.
Yeah.
I don't like it when I don't get like Bitcoin. I'm like, what? I don't understand. Every time someone says Bitcoin, I think of the coins in Mario or Sonic.
That's
the little
basically
rings.
what it
is. And it would, for me, like McDonald's is shut now. Their stock price will be low, but they're going to open up and people are going to want Mackie D's. I could see buying stocks in that, be like, I can work that out. Stuff that I don't understand, I'd be like, what am I?
Yeah. Paul Blair's good with stuff like that, though, isn't he?
He is good, but like it's weird because it's not real. It's like oil. Like oil's oil, do you know what I mean? Oil is still as valuable as oil is, but then oil prices go up and down because going off who thinks oil's valuable. So if we all go, hey, oil's fucking valuable, innit? And we all buy oil becomes less valuable. And then you're like, fuck, oil's shit, innit? So you sell it, and then it's fucking more valuable. Do you know what I mean?
Are you laughing because he explains things like I do?
Anyone who knows stocks and shares must be like, Jesus, guys, how do you even afford your socks? No, right, because oil is oil. And if it's expensive, that's a lot. And then if it's not.
I've invested in very clear and concise.
I knew what you meant. I fucking well know what you meant. Do you know how long I talk like that on a podcast and I know what I mean? And he looks at me like he's just looked at you like you're a fucking idiot. You know what you mean. If everyone says, right, let's all buy some oil, then everyone goes, oh, fuck, oil's expensive, innit? But then if everyone goes, I'm not fucking buying oil anymore, I'm selling my oil, then people are like, oh, well, you can't. It's not.
Innit?
It totally makes sense. But if I was being taught GCSE economics by one of yous, I'd be questioning your fucking qualifications. Like, everyone, sit down, shut the fuck up. This is how economics works, right? I sell stuff, right, and some people buy it and some people don't. Now, fuck off. Thanks, sir. Thank you, sir. What comedy gets cancelled today? Yeah. They're just like, listen, Rona's always going to be here, whatever. Turns out the only industry that can't run is live comedy, podcasting.
It looked like that for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it felt like the Tory government had been like, this is great. What would you do? What would you do? What's the thing? Torquay, get a kayak. What are you thinking?
Nah, I don't know, I just don't know what I'd do. I'll be all right for a bit. I think I'd just fucking... I'm quite good at like accepting the current situation. So like when stuff goes mad, like over the last couple of years I made a lot more money. I've never had money in my life, and then I've made quite a bit of money, and I kind of, it's weird how quickly you get used to having money in the bank and not looking at your bank and just thinking, well, I know I've got money in the bank, so I don't have to worry about
that. Not totally related.
From going from that to having your calculator out in fucking Tesco's, but then like if it goes back to that and I'm skint again, I think I'd be all right with that as well. I just don't,
because you've done it.
Yeah. So like I'm not massively like panicking about it.
That's why people who win the lottery end up skint, innit?
Yeah.
Because you get it and you're just like, oh, I want a boat, I want another boat, I want a plane, I want this or whatever. And then like people are like, why did you do all that? Why didn't you? And it's like, oh, not really asked. Quite happy to just go back to painting and decorating.
Stupid shit, me.
Go on.
Don't even want to say because I'll get burgled.
Oh please, like
I saw a jacket that you bought, and you were like,
I bought those clothes because the show I was writing was called. I called it Change because it was just because I was getting little comments of people like because I bought a nice car and that, people going, oh, fucking you change you. So I thought, what I'll do is, as a joke, I'll just fucking go right over the top with it and buy fucking gold Louboutins and a fucking load of Versace coats and shit like that. And that'll be all my stage gear.
Lean into your criticism.
Lean into it, basically.
That's why I'm calling me next tour show, Let Me in the Mackies.
You 87-year-old prick.
Mine's going to be called Grandad Murderer. I'm really...
I think that's just the best way to attack it, isn't it? But then, as fucking, obviously, Rona's changed everything, and I think I've changed a lot as a fucking person since then. And like now, I'm just like looking at all this shit, and I was like, I've got it all. It doesn't even fit me anymore. Half the shit, I've given half of it away, and I'm like, I'm never gonna fucking wear that. I'm not gonna wear it on stage. So I thought I'll just fucking get it out and wear it around to Tesco's and shit. Fucking bright D&G fucking hoodies and shit like that.
I think
I bought some mad watches and stuff.
Yeah. But they keep the value though, don't they?
They do. But the bad thing, like, I thought I was fucking Billy Big Bollocks, didn't I, buying a fucking Rolex, thinking it was fucking, like, thinking I was part of the fucking big man club and that, with the fucking Merc and a Rolex and shit like that. And I think the thing about having that shit, like, I like having a pair of nice Nike trainees and shit like that. But, like, these are about the limit of what I'm comfortable in. Like, I put those Louboutins on and they're £1,000 a pair and I'm like, because I've got a fucking grand on my feet, you know what I mean? And I'm not comfortable in them, and I don't feel like it doesn't matter how much money I've got. I'm not comfortable having £1,000 on my feet.
You'd never totally 100% relate to this. At the start of lockdown, I had a bit of money squirreled away. Just before the start of lockdown, I got a pair of Yeezys, right? And they are the most comfy things in the world, but because they're Yeezys, they're very limited run trainers, aren't they?
Yeah.
So when they first go for sale, they're about 200 quid.
Yeah.
But then they're actually worth about 400 or 500 for a pair of Yeezys. And I got myself a pair. I won't wear them outside the living room.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if I go on gravel with this, they're scratched forever.
Yeah, they're your house Yeezys.
But I bought a fucking 30 grand watch, and I had it on my arm, and I'm like, every time I put it on, and someone went, it's a nice Daytona, that, and I was like, someone's going to chop my fucking arm off. Someone's going to chop my fucking arm off.
Like when you get paid cash for the weekend of gigs and you've got to walk back to your car and you think everyone in Manchester City Centre knows you've got a grand in your pocket.
But like I was putting pictures on Instagram and everyone's commenting that's it, fucking hell, you get paid too much to have that watch on and shit like that. And I was like, I'm getting rid of this, got rid of it because I was like, I don't need people to
got back to a little black Casio.
But the thing is, I wasn't even fucking telling it. I was looking at my phone for the time.
Yeah.
But your fan base is, you're a lad done good, aren't you? From a working class city, you sell well in all the seaside cocaine towns.
Yeah.
So is it they want you to do well? They love you, but is it only takes one fucking?
It only takes one fucking. It's not even that. It's just I'm just not comfortable having that on my arm. Do you know what I mean? Because someone's gonna fucking. It only takes one, because it's untraceable. It only takes one cunt to just slap it off your arm or knock you out for it, and it's gone. You're never getting it back.
I'll be honest with you.
It was insured.
If I knew your watch would cost 30 grand, I might have swatted you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You would.
Is this why you've been working out, to just protect your fucking shoes and jewellery?
Yeah.
What moves have you met, Paul? I've met the wrist slapper. Get off my fucking shoes.
I think my head fell off a little bit when fucking Rona happened at the beginning, as everyone's probably did. And I was like,
I started getting up at 5 a.m.
I had the shit in my house and that, and I was like, fucking hell. But like, I've said this before, right? I met a new bird and that, and I was in a good place. Everything had been going right, and like it was, I had the car, I had everything. Like, it was the dream life, and I was looking. Like, it was like, and every time I looked at it, I was like, this is the start of every fucking zombie apocalypse film that has ever fucking happened. And then when that happened, I was like, oh, it's all gone tits up. I'm buying a sword, and I was literally, I went on, and I had like 6 swords in a fucking basket. And I was like, I don't know what, researching swords and what's the best sword to buy to fucking for fucking self-defense and shit.
Sword.
And then I was about to buy it, and I was in bed at about 2 o'clock in the morning, just fucking watching YouTube videos about fucking Viking fucking swords and shit like that, and whether to buy a katana or whatever. And then I fell asleep, and I had a dream where someone broke in my house, right? And I grabbed the sword and ran downstairs, and they were coming through my door, and I went, and I just caught the sword on the ceiling, right? I stuck the sword in the ceiling, and he just tackled me and killed me with my own sword. And I was like, I'm not buying it.
I bought a baseball bat.
I've got a bat already.
And then left it on the couch.
left it by the front door.
This is what happened to me. I get done in with my own fucking weapon.
And Jay come down in the morning and was like, why is the bat on the couch? And I went, I just forgot to take it upstairs. Why are you giving me grief? She went, because you've bought a baseball bat to protect us, and you've fucking left it as a weapon for the bear.
Yeah, but it's true. And
Put a
it's
fucking bow on it. Here
statistically,
you go,
though,
mate.
if you have a sword in the house, it like massively increases your chances of looking like a fucking Quendo.
Oh, mate,
You shall not pass.
I was at the point where I had a fucking I was gonna dual wield. I had a sword and a fucking an axe. I was thinking I can block with the axe. I was watching videos on it. My head fell off.
Is that what you were doing for the first 2 weeks of
Because
shutdown?
the thing is, right, can we talk about it? About 3 weeks before that, I'd done DMT, right? And I didn't know whether I'd come out
Did
of
you just
that.
say, can we talk about that?
Yeah, we can talk
Lad,
about
if you've murdered someone, you can say it on this podcast and our listeners will be like, funny that,
We'll
lad.
get to that in a minute.
But this is where the sword chat's building up to. Then TSB knocked on.
I had a weird fucking DMT trip about 3 weeks before that with fucking Milo and fucking Damo Clark, and I wasn't fully sure that I'd come out of it. It's a very transformative experience doing DMT. So I was like, I think it was like it affected my psychology a little.
Do you know
bit.
when we
pandemic.
put the pictures of the studio up? About 20% of the comments, which was quite a lot, was going to become the Scouse Joe Rogan, are you, lad? And now we're doing DMT on the first guest possible.
Jesus Christ. And if you don't know Milo, and did you say Milo and Damien Clark?
Yeah.
Like the nicest guys.
Seeing Damo Clark on DMT was one of the most beautiful things I have ever seen in my entire
Mate,
life.
seeing Damien Clark have a cup of tea is quite uplifting. He's like, I fucking
Absolutely.
love
I
tea.
think that was more spiritual than me doing the DMT. I was just watching him and he was like,
So you had a bad experience on it?
nah, I had a beautiful experience on it. But
Where did you do it?
I've got a shaman.
A what?
You fucking changed, lad.
Well,
What's a shaman?
You know what?
What the fuck is going on?
What's a shaman?
That's a shaman.
He's got swords, axes, and a shaman. You've had a fucking weird shutdown. It turns out you've gone back to like
Well, this is like there's a
mythical.
you know when you're writing
Middle
a new
Ages.
show. You know when you're writing a show and you have to pick a name before you write the show, don't you? Because you've got to start marketing the show first, and then
Yeah.
you're like, I'm gonna have to pick a name here, and I don't know what the fuck the show is about. I haven't written the show, and I picked the name Change, thinking it was going to be about that, but I think it's going to be about because I have changed massively, but it fucking like because I'd done it the first time with Milo last October, and we done it in my house, and oh man, right. So you know what it is, right? DMT.
Yeah.
It's the stuff your brain releases just before you die, right? So
That's why people think they've seen the whole life flash
yeah,
before
like
them.
spirit molecule and stuff like that. I'm a skeptical guy.
Spirit molecule.
There's a documentary where it's called the spirit molecule and stuff like that. It's just that's what it's called, right?
I can't wait till you tell him what a shaman is.
What's a shaman?
Well, he's like a fucking
A shaman, where I'm from, is when your man's a bit of a slag.
having a podcast.
Fucking hell.
And you're on your way to
Order,
school. And you're like,
order.
hey, where's your dirty man?
Jeez.
That's getting a shaman where I'm from.
I'll get to that in a minute. Right, so we got he's a proper scouser as well. It's fucking his name's Shaman Kev. It's boss. Right. He's class. He's fucking absolute. Honestly, one of the best people I've ever met in my life.
Is
Like,
he
just got good
council
energy.
affiliated?
I haven't got a clue.
Liverpool City
I just
Council
know he's got
shaman?
pistols and shit, and he's a good guy. So anyway, first time it does it, right? So I don't. You won't have experienced it because you haven't done it, but right. Milo's telling me about this shit because
I had a fucking boss
It's a
Kit Kat last
clinical-
week, you know. I swear to God, I'm not saying it was the same, but
Transformative.
Yeah, well, it might have been, but like Milo's telling me about this shit, and he's like a clinical psychologist, isn't he? So he's into all that stuff, and he's fucking knows what he's talking about. So he's very convincing. Not that he persuaded me, I just had a feeling to do it. So he comes to my house, and it's like you gotta like smoke it in a bong, right? So like he made a bong out of a bottle, and he's like, just explain how to do it. Because you go one at a time, right? So it's got to be quiet. We've got like nice meditative music on and stuff like that. He done a little bit like a guided meditation before. Make sure you're in the right space in that because your head could fall off. So I had to go, and I fucked up a little bit because it's harsh, and I was like, I wasn't expecting it to be as harsh as it is. So
when you say harsh, the flavour.
it's like dead chemically, right?
You smoke it?
Yeah, you got to like take it in and hold it back, and then he'll fill the bottle up again.
Like
And let that
a
one out.
bong.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
But like it's not. I've only smoked weed before, so it wasn't like I was expecting a more herbal thing, and it wasn't that. And I was like, so the second one I coughed, and I don't think I got the full hit, right? So I'm starting to have this like psychedelic experience which I'd never had, but I didn't fully go under, right? So I'm sat there, and I'm like, fucking looking around, and there's a picture on my wall, and it's like a cloud, and it starts moving and making faces, and it's like crying at me and that. And I freaked out for a little minute, and then I was like, because it only lasts 5 minutes, and then you're sober again. Your body absorbs it really quick because it makes it.
And how long do you feel like that 5 minutes is?
You feel like it's 5 minutes.
Oh, right.
So like I was sat there and everything's just beautiful. Everything is heightened and it looked like a cartoon, right? Milo looks like a cartoon, right? And I'm looking at him and he's just smiling at me and I'm like, this is fucking amazing, right? It's like the first time you go into VR, if you've done, like, you become hypersensitive to everything. You're like,
Dead warm colours.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So like, it was beautiful. So I come out of it, I went, mate, that was amazing. But you didn't fully go under there. And he was like, it's just like, it was probably a good experience, but you didn't get the full hit. So then he has a go, right? And he's on me, I've got a lazy boy, and he's just on me lazy boy reclined, and he's like, and he's like, has this lovely time, right? And he comes out of it, and he went, something's just told me you need to go again. And I was like, go on then, we'll do it again, right? So it does it again, right? And I've done it properly the second time, and mate, I just fucking, he's like, so he gives me, he's like, take it back, hold it, and then the second time, and you start feeling the kick in, right? And you're like, okay, and everything's like, oh, and starts like wobbling, right? And you're like, oh shit. And then he's like, you take the second one and you really start feeling it. And then he's like, take the third one. He starts counting down. He's like, 10, 9. And then his voice just goes,
Milo
melts away, right? Everything melted away. The whole world just turned into like these colours I've never seen before. And then this fucking...
What do you mean, colours you've never seen before?
Colours I've never seen and I can't explain to you because we've got no shared frame of reference. I've never seen these colours before.
Dead mad colours.
Like, I can't... The best way I can try to explain it is I don't think, because you're not looking at it through your eyes, it's inside your brain. I feel like I went to somewhere else, and I understand there's a part of me that's rational that thinks, well, your brain could have just done that, but you get a real sense in it. Loads of people have like a really shared experience about this stuff, right? So gets carried off by this fucking... So it's like a kaleidoscope, right? Kaleidoscope of colours and everything's melting around and stuff like that. And then this fucking giant serpentine thing just picks me up, right? And it's looking at me, right? And that sounds fucking terrifying because it was huge, right? And it's just got this like it's just the blackest thing I've ever seen.
This still makes more sense than every dream my bird ever tells me.
It makes me want to do drugs so much.
It's fucking unreal, right? So I'm there and I'm looking at it and it's just communicating me, but not with words. It's just, I know what it means and it's just telling me everything's going to be all right, right? And I was like, and then I come out of it. It was literally, it made me believe in a fucking afterlife. I was like, that is where you go when you're dead. I'm sure of it now. That is like an unreal experience. And Milo had been kind of telling me, and he went, what did you see? And I was like, I told him, he went, that's the cosmic serpent. Showed me loads of people have seen the same thing. And I was like, fuck, that's weird, right? It's dead weird. So Milo goes again, right? This fucked my head. This fucked me head bad. Because Milo sat, right? He does it again. And he sat, you know, Milo, he's chilled as fuck.
Yeah.
Chilled as fuck. So he's on the chair and he's like, and then he just went, and just screamed like the most visceral, horrible
I fucking shit myself
like,
then.
Mate, imagine that in the middle of the night and everything's like fucking yoga music on and shit and everything's just really placid. I'm in a really good space and he screamed and then he just fucking comes up into like a crab, like his whole body seized up, and I was like, oh fuck, what do we do here? This has gone bad, this has gone wrong, this. And he starts speaking in tongues, like he's going and just like talking in this fucking, and I'm like, oh, I don't know whether to tackle him or whether to like hold him or like restrain him. I don't know what to do, whether I need to get me fingers in his mouth and like stop him swallowing his tongue or something. I'm like, fuck, what do we do here? And then he just looked at me, right, and he was dead behind the eyes, right? He just comes and he goes and fixed me like with his fucking just and started speaking to me in this language, right, for about 2 minutes, and I couldn't move. I just couldn't move. I was froze, just freaked out. And then he just settled down, and he's just like, and he come out of it, and then he was like, oh man, that was the maddest thing. I felt like I got possessed by something that was just fucking like I had the power of the universe. Something possessed me, and it let me feel what it can do for a bit. And then but it told me I need to give you a message that you just need to be nicer to yourself. You need to stop hating yourself a little bit. And I was like, lad, you've just been talking to me for about fucking 2 minutes in like some mad language. And he was like, fuck off. And I was like, wow, there's something in this shit. Like,
where's Shaman Kev during all this?
Imagine if it turns out after all this that Milo was just winding you up.
Mate, I know. Well, there was a little part of me that kind of thought that. So Shaman Kev come about because I'd spoke to Davey about it. And Davey got onto this guy called Shaman Kev. And I was like, so he does like proper DMC ceremonies and he does all like, teaches meditation and stuff like that. So we were like, next time we do it, because I didn't want that to happen again. I was like, next time we do it, we'll go to a proper gaff and do it. Just with someone who knows what the fuck they're doing. Proper dosage and stuff. So he goes to this little, he's only in like Bootle, right?
We'll go proper place.
He's a proper.
Go and see an expert.
Mate, that's the thing. It's mad. Because he's like a proper. You get there and you're like, don't know about this, you know, because like he's obviously like an ex-fighter, like Scally, like, but like he's just turned his life around and just took up yoga and shit like that, and he's just fucking got a dead good vibe about him, right? Put you at ease straight away. So he's like, he sits down, you're doing all these meditations with him and that, and it's me, Damo, my bird, and Milo, right? So it goes one at a time, and he's sat there and he's doing this like fucking Reiki stuff, right? Again, I'm like, that's bollocks. That's fucking someone like putting their hand like that. That's no effect on you at all, has it really? But like, so he does the DMT, and he's sat like there on the floor, cross-legged, just like this, right? Just making sure he says to make sure that you don't veer off the rails, or whatever like that. So he has this mad strip, right? And all the while I keep like, because if you come out of it, if you've got your eyes closed, you go to this other place, but if you come out of it, it just overlays onto the world. So like, if we were here now, like, you just look like something else, do you know what I mean? But you'd be there, but you wouldn't be there, kind of thing. So I've
told you I dream like that, haven't I? Like sometimes, like,
well, it's a similar
the end of my dream. Like I'll see like a fucking alien or something here, and like maybe like a fire here and an octopus over here, and then I wake up and my bird's there, and there's a tree there, and the dog's over there.
Yeah,
right.
There's a dead similar like shared stuff about it, because like Kev has been like, he's been teaching me meditation and stuff, and he's really into, you know, Carl Jung, like all these archetypes, like the mother and stuff like that. And like, I had a mad experience after it, because I'd done the DMT the second time, and he was there. Anyway, I finished that because he was there, right? And I'm looking at him, and he's just fucking whole head's on fire with this purple like flames, and he just looks dead, and he's just like a dead calm, and I'm like, okay. Every time I was like, okay, he's there, and I said that to him when I come out of it, because he's got this like little woman on his wall, like cross-legged with the chakras on her. And as I come out of it, I'm looking at her, and she just come off the picture and was looking at me, and it was just beautiful. And it's all like mad blossoms of light. And I'm like, I said that to him, and Damo went, fuck, I saw the same thing. Like Damo saw the same thing, and he was like, yeah, that's my aura. That's my aura. Like that's like the crown chakra. And I was like, wow, this is doing my head in this, because I thought, like, I don't know whether I believe in this shit now. And like, my head's just twisted up with it. And then I think I've spoken to you about this before. I've always had like sleep paralysis. I always get sleep paralysis. That happens to me if I get stressed or whatever. I don't know if you ever had it, but like
what is it? I've heard of it, and I don't.
When you go to sleep and you dream,
I get it.
You're like fucking. Basically, your brain tells your body to switch off, so you don't act your dreams out. Basically, so it's just a safety thing, right? And sometimes if you half wake up and your body doesn't kick in properly, so you just like paralyzed basically, and then you'll just be like you fucking panicking because you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna move here.
It's like you're stuck to the bed. It's like you feel dead weighted down from the fucking eyelids down.
Yeah, and then you just kind of go whoa, like that, and your body kicks back in. And I've always flapped every single. It's happened to me since I was a kid, and I've always panicked every time it's happened. But I'd been doing these meditations with him, and it happened, right? And I just kind of thought, okay, just breathe through it, and just kind of like stay calm. And I did, and I had a proper mad DMT like experience from that. Like I saw like this fucking.
Because it's still in your system a bit.
It was it wasn't as colourful, but it was in like a dark place, and I was me, and I'm looking into a mirror, right? And there's just like a cartoon Joker, right, on the other side of the mirror, looking back at me and smiling. And I was like, and then that changed, and it was just a fella with a hoodie up with no face. And I was like, fucking, and then I come out of it. So I rang Kev the next day, and I was like, mate, I had this happen to me last night. And he's like, oh yeah, they're the Jungian archetypes of the Joker and the shadow self. You just like, you're having a rebirth kind of thing. And like, my head's just twisted up with it. It's dead weird.
I really think you've named that show really fucking well.
I do, I know, but that's what I said.
You've changed, lad. If you'd have asked me to guess where this podcast was going to go, it wouldn't have been where you've just been for 10 minutes. I'm like,
well, that's all my hippie now. I do yoga every day.
But how can you
Less than a year ago, I seen him be sick on his own shoes.
But I don't see how that is. It's going to change you though, isn't it? All of that stuff is going to change you.
I've done it one more time since, and like it's one of those things though you don't feel like you need to do all the time. It's not like it's weird. It's not like a real, like a proper drug.
I want to do it.
I'll take you to see Kevin.
I would fucking love it.
Yeah, we'll go and see.
Just arrange childcare, and then
Yeah, you're literally in and out 5 minutes, and then it's like, well, you're there for a bit, but like,
just in case Jade's listening, I'm not gonna go, babe. I'm not gonna do that.
Do you know what? Like, it's good for like.
I can do Tuesday.
I know you get like anxiety problems.
Message Kev
right?
with your
shack. You get like anxiety, don't you, and shit like that, right? The last time I done it, it was only a week and a half ago. It was the day after we went out in Chester. So I'd woke up with a fucking hangover, and I get anxious when I've got a hangover, right?
Oh, I do.
And I was like, I don't know, but I told me mate I'd take him to do it. I got there and he'd done it, and he loved it. And then he was like, "You having a go?" And I was like, I don't know, Kev, I feel a bit anxious. So he does this thing called a resource. It's hard to go through. I'll butcher it if I try and explain it, but it's like it's a really good way of alleviating your anxiety. And it kind of worked, right? But you're like me, do you know what I mean? You've got one of them in the voices that tries to sabotage you all the time. So I'm like, I does the DMT, and as I'm sinking under, there's just fucking thought popped into my head. That anxiety is going to come back, and I'm going to have a fucking terrible one here, right? And as soon as I thought that, this anxiety just went poof, and just popped into my chest, and I was like, oh shit. And I could just feel it, and it just rattled. I've never felt anything like it. As I was going under, this anxiety just took my whole body and was just shaking. It was like I was in an earthquake of anxiety, right? It was just mad. And then I got swept up by this woman, right? This big, giant blue woman swept me up and put me in a womb. Jesus Christ. I was just cradling a like pregnant belly, and I could see it, right? And there's just pyramids everywhere, and it was just everything was sky blue, and I've never felt like anything like it. Like I was in heaven.
Anxiety gone
completely. Like as soon as she swept me up, it just went, and it was like I didn't want to come back, and I'd gone. I was like, "What shall I do?" And she's just like, "Don't worry," and she's just laughing at me as if I'm a fucking idiot for even worrying about anything. She's like,
"I want to do it,"
and then she was just like, "Go on." And she waved at me, and I just shot out of it. And came
Adam,
back.
I want to do it.
I am terrified of the notion of doing it.
It's honestly the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
If you've been going, the one thing I will say is, if you've been going a lot to see Shane and Kev, don't set up a fucking direct debit. For the love of God. Been there before. Mate, we need to do a couple of bits to...
We need to have an advert. I need to have a piss. And we probably need to change the memory card in the camera, because that was fucking lengthy.
And
Sorry, I just went off on
No, I loved it.
In a good way.
I want Shane and Kev's fucking number.
The first time we were going to him, we were like, "Hey, we're going to be about half an hour later," and he went, "Time is an illusion." I was like,
I bet you've had nightmares with train travel then.
That's funny as
Let's
fuck.
have an advert.
What's happening, guys? If you love this podcast and you really want to support us, you can go to haveawordpod.com. You can get yourself some merch, something like this hoodie, something like that t-shirt. There's plenty of stuff for you to go and have a look at there. There's also links so you can buy tickets to the Have a Word live shows, and also tickets to mine and Dan's tour shows if you want to come and see us do stand-up. That's all at haveawordpod.com.
We also do an extra episode of the podcast every week on patreon.com/haveawordpod. Sign up on Patreon, get the exclusive Patreon episode. There's also some discounts on merch, discount on live tickets, but the extra episode is only on Patreon. That's patreon.com/haveawordpod.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye.
Oh, it's time for Have a Word. I play it?
You can't hear it because you're not wearing headphones, but it's fun.
We have a theme song.
Let's do some Would You Rathers, though. Before we can't have a first guest on
I've got a couple.
without doing some WIRs.
So, thanks to everyone as always who sends all this stuff in. We asked a few years whether you wanted us to ask Paul Smith some of the Would You Rathers that we've done in the past to get his perspective on it. We've picked two that a lot of you asked for that. And we've also got a brand new Would You Rather submission from Dan Johnson. Thanks, Dan. And a couple of Have a Words to come as well. You ready, Paul?
Ready when you are, mate.
So, basic rules. Would you rather? Two options. You only get to pick one. You can't pick the other.
You have to pick one.
You have to pick one, okay? Would you rather, and this is a classic, be able to run at 100 mile an hour or fly at 10 mile an hour?
Fly.
Thank you. This fucking moron picked
Because if you can run at 100 mile an hour, you're definitely going to hit something at you.
No.
You're gonna die.
No.
Because you can fly, you can just take in the fucking atmosphere, you can just take in the sights and that. Then,
Listen,
can't you?
this is classic DMT chat. I can fucking fly. I just need to go and see Kev. I'm fucking going now. I'll be flying back from fucking Runcorn. Listen, just because you can run at 100 miles an hour doesn't mean you're like, oh shit, I need to get the bus. You're not like instantly into 100 miles an hour. You've got control over it.
Yeah, but that's fucking shit, isn't it?
No, you just choose when to run 100 miles an hour.
Because,
you win
I
every
bought
Olympic
a dead fast
race.
car and got bored with it in about 2 weeks because you can go dead fast, but you're stuck in a 30 mile. If you can't actually go dead fast because you're stuck in a 30 mile, if you can't run 100 mile an hour all the time, there's no point being able to run 100 mile an hour.
Just on the track, mate. Just on the track. That's where I'll be doing my 100
So
miles.
you're picking 100 mile an hour just for the
just to go
sporting
round
purposes?
the track.
Well,
But then you just win. Once you've won a couple of times, you're like, this is boring now because I just always win.
oh yeah, winning the Olympics would be dead
But
fucking boring.
if you had 65 gold medals and you're just like, yeah, but and no one wants to run anymore because fucking Nightingale's here, 100 mile an hour.
Getting sponsored by Virgin.
Nah, me and Rowe will be fucking cruising over the lakes going,
Yeah, but 10
Tuesday.
miles an hour.
10
mile an hour.
10 miles an
Yeah,
hour. Like
people-
a balloon in a
Yeah,
breeze.
people love air ballooning.
Just be like, is that-
Mate, people love air
10
ballooning.
miles an hour is not a balloon in a... You can't run 10 miles an hour.
what?
I reckon he can run 10 miles an hour.
Just about, maybe.
Like,
Right.
for about 10 yards.
You cunts in the car park.
There's no way that you average out at 10 miles an hour.
Nah.
What?
You having a laugh?
What do I...
You having a laugh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
nah.
I'm trying.
Nah, you probably average... If you... What can you
I'm
do?
about 4 or 5. I'm slow.
Yeah, so am I. I was going to
I'm
say.
a fat man
I done
and
a
I'm getting
half
fat.
marathon, which is 12, and it took me 2 hours. 2 hours 5, I think.
Right. That's healthy.
So that's like 6 miles an hour, isn't it?
And he was trying his best as
me
well.
fucking
And
absolutely.
look at him and
giving
look
it
at
the
you.
This is
Shut Upset me.
Laura texted me before and said I need to start making some weight digs because she wants you to get on a diet.
I swear to God, she's fattening me up for the fucking life insurance. Not once has she been like, darling, you're fat as fuck now. Come on, you lost weight. You put it back on. She just keeps going, you do you, love. I'm literally watching her go, I'm young enough for a second husband. I can see it.
Yesterday,
Pouring fucking weight going down your neck while you're asleep. Innit?
Have another vanilla slice.
yesterday I saved myself enough calories, so I'm trying to diet at around 1,800 calories a day at the minute,
Okay.
which is enough for a calorie deficit, but I'm not breaking me back sort of thing. I saved myself enough calories for, have you seen that Halo top ice cream?
It's boss that, innit? Which
Yeah.
one?
300. I got a peanut butter yesterday.
Isn't that the fucking best one? Mate, I have one of them a week, mate.
320 calories in the whole fucking
It's
tub.
unreal, though. And it's
Ben and Jerry's sized tub. 320 calories.
100% as good as ice cream, innit?
Yeah.
That peanut butter one, it's got little peanuts in it. Ah, you go, whoa.
What the fuck has happened to us? Fucking he's on DMT and you two fucking Liverpool comments going, oh my God, it's low calorie, innit? Have you tried peanut butter? Oh my God, it's amazing. Next question. I could fly.
I
I've got so
guarantee
much-
he's going to buy a fucking tub of this week.
I've had
on his
Halo.
own in the Tesco going,
Lad, it's phenomenal.
It's
And
dead good.
Jade, fucking 320 calories in the whole tub. She snatched it off me halfway through and said, that's enough. And put it back in the freezer.
Nah.
To be in her defense, I said to her a while back, because I'd had a few of them lately, right? When I've got to the end of the day and I've got like 500 calories left, I've gone, I'll just have a fucking tub of ice cream. Sound, right? I said to her, don't let me buy that anymore, because if it's in the house, I'm going to eat it. And then yesterday, I had a fucking bad day. I just had a shit fucking day. I was in a shit mood. I lost loads of motivation, and I thought, you know what? Don't ruin your diet with something horrible, but go and get yourself a tub of that Halo top, right? I went to driving range so I could just twat some balls for a bit, get a bit of anger out. And as I got back towards the house, I made that decision. And I pulled up onto the side of the road, and I rang Jade and said, will you come to shop with me? And she said, oh, no, I can't be arsed. I went, come on, come to shop with me. I don't want to buy naughty stuff. And she said, no, I don't want to go. And I went, all right, sound. And I thought, fuck yeah. I thought, if you're not going to be there, I'm buying it. Because all I asked you to do is stop me buying it. Once I've bought it, it's fucking mine to do whatever I couldn't want with. And she fucking robbed it off me halfway through. And then she did that. You can have it back if you want. You can have it back. Do you want it?
If him and Jade last long term, it sounds fucking... And I hid it. I got it and I put it in the back of the freezer and I wrote a letter. I'll fucking kill you if you touch me, Halo. kiss.
They are one of them couples who, like, I can imagine going in one day and there's blood everywhere and Jade just going, I didn't mean it.
It just happened. I killed him with a spoon from the Halo ice cream.
Just sat there for 3 weeks and he's just a fucking, like, blue in that and she's just holding him going, come on, Adam.
I
Have you been running?
agree.
Trying to feed you the Halo so you can have it now.
Have you been running still?
No.
Never mind about 100 miles an hour. Did you
No.
pie the running?
I
Are you running? You're just weights.
I'll do card, like, I'll hit a bag or I'll do like a circuit or something.
I stopped running when I stood on that bag of needles, which is a fucking ridiculous sentence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Stood on that bag of needles, and I got basically Google said, "Don't fucking get a bath and don't run for ages." So I didn't.
Is that what it said?
Yeah, lad. He actually said, "Yeah, lad." He's on Scouse
Don't
Google.
wash it. Don't move.
Stay the
Have
fuck where
yourself
you
a
are.
tub of ice cream, lad. Have a seal. Lord fucking pass by.
I think you should be seeing Google. It's way more supportive.
Yeah. So it said not to do that, so I just stopped, and then we got busy building this place, so I didn't have any time to exercise. I was just trying to do well on my food, and I just haven't gone back to it yet.
Watching you have a KFC for the first time here when we were
You should
middle
see
of
me
the
with that
build.
fucking Domino's.
You're like,
Let myself have a treat Domino's.
I
Thought I was going to actually come, you know. There was a moment when I was like, oh, this could be a wet dream. This, like,
garlic and herb.
all the crusts.
Let's do another would you rather.
Question on this.
Oh,
When
what do
you
you
have a
see?
pizza,
Yeah.
and I know you're a fucking massive pizza guy.
Mate, you know what? When I got home the other night, I bought myself 2 16-inch pizzas and on meat for me.
What?
And I don't know why I did it.
You've
I woke
never-
up
have
the
you
night-
ever
eaten
I don't
them all?
eat them.
Have you ever been on a night out with him?
I just look at them.
Good night.
I'm a fucking.
Have you ever been on a night out with him? Do you know what he does?
Oh, the chip. You've been
The
talked
double
about on
chips.
the double chips.
I'm horrible, yeah. I'm a nasty.
2
nasty
portions
man.
of chips. One for when he's walking to his taxi, because then when some fucking stupid cunt's like, "Here's a chip, lad," he's all angel
I've
face.
made him come to another chippy to get more chips because I've run out of chips. Because I can't eat the pizza without chips. This is the only reason I don't like Domino's that much. Because
They don't
no
do
chips.
chips, and the wedges are shit.
Wedges aren't chips. Wedges are shite.
Hey, okay. Why did you buy 2 pizzas with Donna meat on?
Because what I like to do is, this is my new thing, and I'm a fucking.
Are you making a butty?
I make a butty with the Donna meat.
So you get one slice of one pizza,
Yeah.
one slice of another.
And then put loads
And
of
Donna
Donna
meat in the middle.
of it.
And you,
Do you see how I knew? I've never heard of that in my life.
Fucking unreal.
And
yeah.
I knew on
unbelievable.
instinct what he was doing.
it's the most
It's
disgusting thing.
It's disgusting, but it's so right as well. Like, it's fucking delightful.
If you eat that sober, you need a doctor. Even if it, like the Iranian guys who
Yeah.
work in those shops, if you order one, when they open up early, they're clearly not selling anything. It's like 4 p.m. and they're doing the prep. If you walked in and went, "Can I have Donna meat like a pie, a sandwich?"
But it's not so
I don't think we should sell
different
this.
to a kebab, is it? It's just you've made the kebab
It is a bit
out of garlic bread. or
it is a little bit different.
Why is it different?
Very different.
bread, isn't it?
Bread, cheese, meat, and more meat.
Oh God. How do you look like that when you're buying that shite?
It's loads of juice in it. Just take
Oh
loads of
yeah,
steroids,
yeah.
isn't
Get
it?
on the fucking roids, mate. Shame and Kev
Nah,
and fucking
I just don't- I
roids
think
and gas.
because you asked me a couple of months ago, didn't you? And I've tried every fucking diet on the planet, like every single one, and they all work to an extent. But I think the best thing I've figured out is that I'm gonna eat shit because I'm from a fucking council estate, and it's just the way I comfort eat is fucking like chicken dippers and shit. And
Preach,
just,
brother.
Like crap.
Preach.
You know what I mean? So like I'm gonna do it. At point I'm gonna have a bevy and I'm gonna eat shit. So just try and factor that in, because what I've done for years is gone. Like I've tried to be fucking all kale shakes and fucking salads and that, and then I'll fall off the wagon and have a bevy and have a fucking kebab and that, and then I'm like, oh, fucked it now. I might as well just go fat.
Bondi
again.
swears by intermittent fasting for that. If you go long enough,
Well, I was doing
you
that for
can
about a year
smash some shit, and your
Yeah.
body's just like so
I done
short
intermittent
of.
fasting for
Yeah.
like 6 hour window for started last January, and I only stopped about 2-3 months ago because I started actually bulking for the first time ever.
Oh yeah, we've been bulking up.
What I was going to ask you though, because Sarah Millican posted about this on Twitter, right? And Jade does it as well. You know when you eat a pizza,
Yeah,
let's say it's just a normal day, you're not drunk, you're just having a pizza,
yeah.
right? You know the very outer crust? You've
Yeah.
just got classic crust. It's not got fucking a cheeseburger in or whatever fucking shite you do now. It's just a normal pizza. Do you eat the crust?
Not all of them. What I will do is I'll eat the pizza, and then if I'm still hungry, I'll go around and just nibble the crust.
And you can use that for the dips. That's why the dips are nice. Sometimes you use
Save
the
them for
crust.
the dip. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm just glad that I can stay friends with both of you.
Is that what you do?
What I do is I do eat the whole slice, but then Jade doesn't eat any of the crusts, and I use air crusts to dip in the garlic sauce.
If I'm not going to smash the whole thing, I know I've not got the appetite for a whole pizza.
If you've already
I would rather eat the shit with toppings on.
Yeah.
But if I'm not. If I'm still hungry, I'm not leaving the bread for the fucking sake of it. I will smash the lot.
Cool.
God, I'm hungry. I want to do drugs and get pizza. Does Shaman Kev have some fucking...
Shaman Kev is above a Papa John's.
Shaman is the MT comes on a pizza.
Fucking hell. What did your pizza get delivered by? A fucking serpent, right? Driving a fucking Citroen Saxo. Always a Saxo. I can lose. Another, I want it. Another. Would you rather? It was good, that. I like doing these to other people. It gives them a whole new lease of life.
Would you rather this? We're not sure these are the exact details we did the first time round, but it's similar. Would you rather have 200 grand put in your bank now, and your life will carry on as it is, no restrictions at all?
No questions asked. No tax. That's yours. Hey, that's yours.
Or 10 million put in your bank, but you can never leave Wales.
10 mil.
You can never leave Rill.
Oh.
No. No,
you changed.
No, because I want to see the reasoning.
I'd get a good gaffing like somewhere nice on the coast of Wales for 10 mil, but if you've got I'm not staying in Rill for 10 mil, me.
Right, hang on. This is so weird, because when we did it, I was like, mate, you just be the king of Wales. You'd be wealthy. I'll take it anytime. But Adam was like, no, can't see it. No, I can't fucking see it. You were like, couldn't. But you're instantly...
You can never leave Wales. You can't go on holiday again. So, you can never go abroad again. You can never go and see Shaman Kev.
I can bring Kev to me.
Yes.
You could bring Kev to you, but, where you're going to live, you're thinking, in the middle of Wales on the coast.
Do you know what house I could buy a castle in Wales for 10 million?
Exactly what we've been saying.
You can buy a castle in... I've looked at this shit. You can buy a castle in Wales for, 1.2. Easy. And the fucking...
Would you want to live in a castle, though?
There's a castle in Wales that was for sale last year.
Imagine the fucking bills there, though. The gas bill in there.
It was on its own island. It had a moat. I'd have sharks and shit in the moat and that.
Hey, you know what we were talking about before about DMT? I don't think you want to be doing DMT in a castle. I think that, when you're offsetting it with what you're looking at, that could fuck you up.
About?
Like Shaman Kev wouldn't go to Aberystwyth. You were like, hey, Shaman Kev's not going to fucking travel. Not a chance to Aberystwyth. Of course he fucking went.
One of my new favourite things to do, right? Because people, if you go round house viewing, right, you've got to fucking if I'd never come across this before, because the houses I bought being the house I'm in now is worth 250 or something like that. So when you go and look at that, it's sound. But if you start looking at houses over 600-700 grand, they start being a bit fucking funny with you. They're like, have you qualified for this yet? Do you know what I mean? Because you don't want people to waste the time, right? But
just turn around hello, we'd like to see the seventh bedroom, please.
Well, that's what it is, because people just go, I want to go and fucking have a look around this dead nice house. One of the best things I've found about having a little bit of fame is that people just think you can afford shit, right? So I've been taking the baby and going viewing mansions, right? And just getting tours of mansions. And I went to this gaff by Crosby, right?
What?
It's the fucking set of the Tolkien film. This guy's got this fucking big... this row of houses were built by the fella who owned the White Star Line. So the captain of the Titanic had the house on the end, right? And then he had the house fucking on this end, right? And then the guy who designed... the guy who designed them, the architect, had the big fuck-off house in the middle, right? So this guy who's bought it, he's kept it Victorian, because he uses it as a movie set, right? And I was I seen it listed for 1.3 million, and I was like, well, no, have a look at this, me, Oh, have a look at this. So I rang him up, and he was like, have you qualified? And I was I always give it nah, because you know what, this keeps happening to me, and I keep getting mortgages in principle, and it's affecting my credit rating. And when I get a mortgage for 1.3, it's gonna be fucking, it's really, even that extra couple of 0.2% on that much of a mortgage is gonna make a difference in payments. You know what I mean? So I'd rather see it first and know that I want it before I get the mortgage in principle. And they're like, oh, Oh yeah, I didn't think about it that way. Yeah. And then I told him who it was, and he was like, he come back to me. He's like, yeah, the fella's really excited to meet you and stuff like that. So the guy was there himself. He gave me the full tour. He's giving me like telling me the history of the house. It had servants' quarters and shit in it. It was fucking unreal. It was absolutely amazing.
See, I've got a bit of profile as well. When I bought my new car last week, fucking full tank of gas.
He showed you all around the car.
What car did you get?
Kia Sportage.
Ooh, nice.
Big fella.
It's boss.
Oh, yes.
Showed me the boot. Got a spare tyre
Have you?
in the boot.
Don't really get them anymore, do you?
Got new set of mats.
Space saver.
He gave me one of those fucking key rings for the trolley at Asda.
Mate, he was just talking about Tolkien's Victorian mansion, and you're like, and it's got windscreen wipers, 2 on the front.
Lights.
Yeah,
Good deal.
The aircon does work.
What
Heated seats.
would you run a gig if you've bought your castle just off the coast of North Wales? Would you not still run a gig? Because if I had 10 million,
You'd have to ring Rob Riley first, see if he's got one within 100 miles.
some promoter like, hello. I would, but I wouldn't be able to just leave comedy. I'd be in Wales, but I'd still want to see, even if it was just a monthly fucking Wednesday.
Yeah, I'd just
pay 800 quid.
Hot water comedy in Wales somewhere. And do that.
Hot water.
So you're taking the 10 million staying in Wales?
I'd do that, yeah.
Yeah, so would I.
We basically live in Wales now, pretty like we're like a fucking about 50
Yeah, but you
miles
can
from it.
leave. It's not about living there. I could live in Wales. I wouldn't want to be
What's
confined
the
to.
farthest you've been in the you didn't go abroad to Europe after like 2 years ago or something.
Sure,
So
yeah.
that your life wouldn't have been any different. You'd have just had 10 million quid.
But you can't be a comedian anymore. You can only do a tour of Wales. He's doing 29 nights in Cardiff. Fucking hell.
Cardiff's a good gaff to do gigs though.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
even
of course
you
it
can't
is.
sell 29 nights.
Good if I had 10 million quid.
How? Why? What would you say?
Pay people to come.
That's a lot of Facebook adverts, that.
Yeah.
And then you're just stuck in Wales.
Problem is, you give Paul Blair 10 million quid, he can sell anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I thought before? I nearly said this before, but we went way deep into the conversation. When we were talking about Paul Blair, who, for those who forgot or don't know, is the owner of Hot Water Comedy Club. And the way we're talking about him, and we're not lying. Nah. He can sell anything. Brilliant businessman. And he was the one in advising me and you on which stocks and shares to buy. He bought shares in McDonald's.
Sounds like a sensible guy, doesn't he?
Doesn't he? I'd just love to take like 10 of our listeners, put them in a room with him after 6 Jack Daniels and Coke, and just watch their perception of this man unfold. This is a man. I've never been on a night out with Paul Blair where he hasn't at some point tried to rap battle a stranger.
Yeah.
Leave it, Paul. Leave it.
It's weird. He goes from being so sensible, and he'll just see, and then like
It's his eyes, isn't it?
It's his fringe now, right?
His fringe is gone.
Like his fringe just starts flopping down his head, and you're like, he's had it here. He's had it.
Give me a beat. Give me a beat with his little Hitler hair.
And he just starts rap battling, and he goes dead funny, and then he just gets his shoes off and puts them on his hands and starts going, hiss, 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 and starts.
Have I showed you that photo of him in Berlin?
What? He does not.
He starts being a boxing trainer.
Tenerife, right? And he just disappeared, right? We're just in this room, and all we could hear was hiss, 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 hiss. And we're like, what the fuck's that? He went out, and he's just in the fucking corridor with his flip-flops on his hand, just boxing the wall. He doesn't do drugs. He doesn't. It's no drugs.
It's all just alcohol.
Because what it is, he's got a weird metabolism, right? He's one of them people who's like a natural athlete. So like, he's just got a dead fucking weird metabolism, right? So if you went out with him today, he'd drink all of us under the table.
And he's the first one up, and he wants to go out
so
again.
easy. And then he wakes up the next day fresh as fuck. But it's because I don't think he processes the alcohol at all. So then tomorrow, so if you go on a 3-day bender with him, it's a nightmare, because tomorrow we'd all go out today. If we were on like a stag do, whatever, we'd all get smashed, we'd all fall asleep, we'd wake up rough tomorrow, we're like, fucking hell, I feel like dying. You'd have a couple of bevies, you'd be all right, you'd be back on it, and you'd start again. Whereas he has 2 bevies, and he's back at the level he was at 3 o'clock in the morning.
We were talking about this before, about
before.
holiday boozing. Go on.
So on his stag do in Berlin, I'll just show you it. I'll speak to Blair before I put it online anyway. But Blair and Davey Ash got sent home, and we got a phone call hours later because they'd set the fire alarm off in the hotel, and the whole hotel had been evacuated.
I've seen that picture.
It should be framed
He's one
on this fucking wall.
He's one of the most successful comedy promoters in the history of British comedy,
Yeah.
and he looks like a fucking numpty.
He's one of my favourite people in the
He's
world.
absolutely amazing. And he's a genius as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, just fucking. Yeah,
Oh.
he just likes to go mad from time to time.
Time to time. Do you know about 6 months after they had the baby, I went on a night out with him, and I've known him for 10 years, the exact same amount of time I've known you.
Yeah.
And that was the first time ever, this was like 2 years ago max, that he said the words to me, lad, I'm getting off.
Yeah.
I've never outlasted
You're
them.
both like that though. See, I'm the opposite. I'm getting off, but you and him are like, no. I'm not getting out. And like, Adam, you've been sick 7 times.
Yeah, I've been left in town several times.
You need to go. And he's like,
I'm
I'm not going. I'm not getting off. You're a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Funny.
I can't do it.
You're a fucking nightmare.
Does this not make you want to drink? Like the shutdown, I haven't been boozing with mates for a while, but the shutdown and not being able to has made me want to go out with the lads so much.
Last week, we had because that's the first time I'd seen Blair or Danny or anyone for like 3 months. We just had the pint in Chester. It was the best. I had fucking such a good time.
Did you stay out?
No, I got off after the gig. I didn't see you after you went to pub.
Nah.
I went for the gig because I'm doing the gig this week. I wanted to watch it and see how it did and how the comics approached it because, like,
Yeah, just
take a lot of pride in stand-up, and I don't want to be the guy who just makes the rookie mistake that someone didn't the week before. So I didn't know you were going out for a drink.
Yeah.
I came over
It was a
for
last
the
minute
show.
thing, like that.
But when I promised myself when I went out the night Liverpool won the league, I went to ground to celebrate at Anfield. I said after that I'm not drinking until Carl gets home, and I haven't. And there's like 7 days left now, and then I'm gonna have a drink.
Having a pint later.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I want to
first gig back.
I might do.
I said I would make an exception if I do a gig before.
See, I'll come to Chester if we're getting on it.
Oh, fuck off.
I'll go for a pint if you want.
What?
I'll have to take my car home and that.
What?
How are you getting back from Chester? I'm not going if you're going to have 2 and then drive home.
Well,
this is the most exciting thing I've ever heard.
yeah.
Laura's going to be fuming when I'm like, darling, you know I've been out all day doing a podcast. Well, I'm going out.
Oh, let's go out.
Mate, I live in Chester.
Let's go out. I'm up for it.
Okay.
100% up for it.
I'm actually in the mood.
Yes.
Let me press the buttons.
Mama like
that.
that.
Mama like that.
So these though.
I've got one in the house.
Oh, yeah.
We'll go by mine. I'll follow you to yours. I'll take you from yours to mine, and then we'll get a taxi over from mine.
Right, we need to have a word because all of a sudden this became the best day of my life.
Right, there's one more would you rather, and then we'll do a have a word. One more, okay? So, would you rather get an erection every time you tell a lie? This is a proper full mast, as big as it gets erection, or you sneeze every time someone says your name and you hear it. And this would include if someone on the telly says Paul Smith, if you're passing them in the streets, if someone goes, that's Paul Smith over there, and you hear it, you sneeze. And when you're being announced on stage, you would sneeze. And it's not a cute sneeze, it's a full body sneeze where your legs and arms
I'd
go.
take the erections, me.
Would you?
Yeah, I think it's the safer option, innit? Because I think you'd learn to live with that. You'd learn to live with just being, and you'd have an excuse for being horribly honest as well. Because you'd be like, well, I'm gonna get a fucking massive hard on if I'm not. So I'm just gonna have to tell you that I think you look shit in that dress. Do you know what I mean? But like, if you're gonna sneeze all the time, I think some cunt could use that against you.
Thing
Like
is,
if you're
though,
driving or something, someone goes, Paul, you're like, and you just crash your car or something.
See,
Yeah.
you're fucked up there though, because you could still get away with that with your missus if she's like, "What do I look like in this dress?" and you lie and go, "You look fucking amazing," and then you get an erection. You can go,
Fuck!
look, it's that good.
This is such a
It's that good.
convoluted.
You look. I have never been this hard in my life.
Do you really think so? Yes, I do. Yes,
I mean, look at me, look.
Fucking speaks for itself, doesn't it? Fucking look at you,
And
twinking.
do you think I've lost weight? Yeah.
Do you like me, ma?
Hey, you're not going to top that, eh? You're not going to fucking top
I
that.
don't know about that.
No, you're not going to top that. It's time to have a word.
Go on, play it.
Oh, no one can hear it. No one's got their headphones on. Everyone else can hear
Listeners
it.
can.
It's time to have a word.
Do you know that we do this? We're like trying to solve people's problems. We've never helped. Once. We helped
I
once.
reckon we've helped a couple of times.
We've done 76 episodes, Adam.
Right, so we've already covered drugs a lot, so should we do the racism one?
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. Here we go. All right, lids. I'd like you to have a word with my daft cunt of a brother. Our listeners are all this aggressive, by the way. Long story short, I was accused of being racist due to a massive misunderstanding.
I mean, we've all been there.
Yeah. We'll see. I was doing this streamed quiz on YouTube with some mates when an account called Karan Japit, so it's Karanjapit, all one word, started complaining about the questions on the chat, and I couldn't pass up this seemingly open goal and responded, "It's funny how the person called Karen is the one complaining."
Topical.
They said, "It's not Karen." And I said, "Well, your name's misspelled then. Your ma needed grammar for the birth certificate." I was just being proper childish and making a joke. And they said, "It's Karanjapit. It's a Punjabi name. How does it feel being racist?" For one, that's bullshit. Easy mistake to make. Feel free to disagree. That's not the problem now. The problem was my shite bag of a brother who heard this go on and joined the chat. A chat that had people from all ethnicities on my uni course in it. And he publicly said, "You are right, Karen. I'm Harry's brother and he hates Jews and blacks." Needless to say...
Upset me, nasty bitch.
That's Kane Brown. Needless to say, I had a lot of cleaning up to do in my DMs that night with people asking if this is true. He claims it was a joke and everyone should have realised it's a joke. He listens to the podcast religiously, so tell him he's shite at writing jokes and that he's a massive fucking bell sniff. And while you're there, have a word with Karen for being a virtue signalling pussy. Cheers, lads, from Harry Robinson. Go ahead, boys. Do you wanna...
Well, I mean...
I just feel like...
It is funny. It is funny, isn't it?
I think it is it's an easy mistake to make because I've been doing a lot of Twitch streaming and I've hosted one of them quizzes and the names are popping up and they're all fucking mad names, aren't they? So like it's easy to you're glancing at them, aren't you?
Oh, the Karanjapits.
So it's easy to think that was Karen because that would pop out like a word search, wouldn't it?
And also, like, it's a play on words, isn't it? He's not saying everyone with Karanjapit is like a bad person.
So I don't think that's racist. I think that's a bit.
Oh no, she's definitely. I'm talking about the brother.
Yeah,
the brother going, yeah, he hates blacks and Jews. That is funny. It's just not the right time for the funny.
I don't know about that. I think his brother did the right thing. I think it's funny as fuck.
I think that type of banter. It relies on so much trust. You basically have to know someone isn't a racist to be able to do ironic racism. Yeah, there has to be that trust that you're like, as soon as you think it's with someone who's racist or you don't know that, it's too high risk.
What's your least favourite race of people?
You fucking done that to me on Instagram Live and I went,
that was so funny.
It's white people because of all the disgusting things we've done. Next question.
White people aren't I'm sorry. We are the default.
I can't hear of your privilege.
I love this podcast, but I also love Dave Longley's podcast. That's my other favourite comedy podcast, right? And,
good save there, Paul.
I've tried to introduce it to like. I've said this to him as well because I've been on it a couple of times and he's like, well, you don't fucking share it. I'm like, because I can't. Because if people don't know you and know how fucking unracist you are, if you listen to that, people are going to assume you're a horrible racist because you say some horrible shit on there.
And he looks like a horrible
Chinese
racist.
Accent all the time.
There's got to be an element of trust. As soon as the trust goes, and the brothers come in doing banter, and it's too hard. That is brother. That's the kind of, if you have that joke with your brother or with your mates, that's fine. But over a uni course Zoom meeting, that is a nightmare, innit? And also, of all the institutions that are hypersensitive for that,
does it not matter?
It's
why
universities.
He hates them?
Universities are the actual Mate,
I just watched you.
I literally, it's making me nervous because Harry's message that he's one of our biggest contributors, and I almost feel like I know him, and I like the joke. It's a funny joke, but the brothers just smashed in and done it at the wrong time.
Nah, I reckon his brother, you played a blind there, kid. So over to Paul, deciding about.
I think it was a funny joke done in the wrong moment.
Yeah, it probably was.
Yeah, but that's the thing, innit? You've been out with mates who you love to bits, and they don't know when to judge the moment.
That's a trusted WhatsApp group joke, that.
Yeah. Along with stock prices for oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for it, but just time and a place. My dad used to do that when we were kids. Time and a place. Fucking grumpy shit when we were kids. There's a time and a place.
Oh, I've never told you about this. It's not exactly the same thing, but my uncle so it's my mum's sister's husband. His name's Carl. And one year on Christmas Day, this is 100% true, and I can't believe I've never mentioned this on the podcast. One year on Christmas Day, so he's got a son from before he was married to me auntie, right? And me and him are of a similar age. He's a couple of years older, maybe 18 months or something. And he was like, "Hey, do you want to come in here? I'll show you something on a computer." And he put a video on that was a gangbang, right? A full-blown gangbang. I was about 13, and the other lad's like 14, 15. And he put a full-blown gangbang on and then went and told my mum and dad for a joke that I was watching a gangbang in the computer room, and waited until after I was told off to go, "Oh, I did that. It was just a joke."
I think that's funny.
That's pretty funny.
Isn't it?
My mate Bondi was looking at porn on his dad's computer. His dad worked out that he'd been looking at porn, and he blamed me for it. Bondi just went, "Oh yeah, it was Danny," and I had such a bad reputation in that family that Bondi's dad went, "Right, well, tell him to keep off my computer." That was 1998, and he's still not fucking admitted that it was him. And the other day, you know, when you're catching up with mates,
I'd love if they were listening to this now, going.
I messaged him the other day, tried to ring him, and it went to voicemail. And he went, "Oh, he sent me a message on WhatsApp." He's like, "Sorry, mate, just out fishing with my dad. So I'll call you later. It's not really the right time." I was like, "Absolutely no worries." I was like, "Do you think it's time to admit about that fucking porn on the computer? I know it's 22 years later, but I'd like that off my fucking personal record with your family." Nothing back. Shitbag won't do it. Just let it go. 22 years.
Send them the episode and the timestamp. Sorted.
I think you should do that.
I don't want Keith Bond to listen to the rest of the episode. I think I'd literally win the point for like, "Oh, he didn't watch porn. What the fuck is he saying on the internet?"
So you watch porn on a computer in 1998?
Yeah.
I
What?
think
Yeah. Easily. No.
I don't think I watched porn on a computer till fucking post 2000s. Mate.
What were you doing in 1990?
Let me have a look. Let me have a little look
It's
at
good
it.
enough internet.
Let me check the timestamp on that.
I'm not trying to call you a
No.
fucking liar.
I it all happened. I'm not 100% when it happened.
Yeah.
It might have been when we were back from uni, sort of like 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
It's fucking ages ago. It was when Bondi lived with his parents, so he was either back from uni, but in and around
Yeah,
there.
it's not like if it changes to 2001, everyone's going to be like, "Oh, fucking hell, Dan, give him time to
I
come
was
clean."
thinking back and I was thinking, I'm sure I still had VHSs then.
Did you have porn on video?
Mate, I thought about this the other day because I parked by Moorfield. The first porn I ever bought was I had to go into the fucking pawn shop it's called Private by Moorfield Station. 45 quid a video it was, right? And I brought I still remember that it was amateur British sluts.
God.
And it was like
45 quid for the amateur stuff.
Mate, I'm into the amateur stuff though. I like a
So yeah, same
I like
here.
a rough bear, mate.
Yeah. I don't like it all. I even like it. I can't
relate.
I've said this before. I like it when you can see the reality of like car keys on the side, and I almost like that look of regret as well. Like, bloody hell, what am I doing?
The first time I ever saw, like we're talking about, me and my best mate from school when we were about fucking, must have been 12, found his mum and dad's porn. It was a red video, right? And you're like, oh, what's that? That's fucking, it's gonna be a fucking porn. And we put it in, right? We'd wedged the chair up against the door so no one could come in because they were having like a party downstairs. And we were like,
Oh my God, that's high risk porn.
yeah. And we put it on, mate. I wish I'd never ever watched it. It was the most fucking extreme porn. It's still to this day some of the most extreme porn I've ever seen. I think that's with the internet.
I don't reckon it'd come close to the stuff I watch when I'm hungover.
Mate,
No, but this is a moment. This is like a
unbelievably, like there was a woman getting absolutely like, because he was a black fella and she was a white woman, right? So it was all black, like interracial porn, right? And there was like 6 of the fucking biggest black dudes with these fucking big massive dicks.
She was a white woman. He was a black man.
And then I still remember it to this day. I still remember it. They got a glass, slapped that on the belly, and all the cum just come out into the glass. And then they made her drink it.
Order.
And we were both sat there, like going, just traumatized.
What's that
like, going,
called?
"Is this-"
What's that called?
Slapping them on the belly.
That's got to have a name. You know, like Arabian thingy goggles when you teabag. What's the slap on the belly and the...
Empty the Hoover.
Well, there's the meme.
What are we doing with our life? Oh God.
Fucking hell.
Right.
That's the longest podcast we've ever done.
These ones with guests are going to be absolutely epic. Why would we get Paul here to be like,
45?
listen, like, just keep it tight. Hey, you know your DMT story? Red light on 20.
He'd fucking run it anyway. We'll get to that next time he's on.
Emptying the Hoover.
Go and check Paul's stand-up out. I'm sure you already have. He's got fucking hours and hours of it on YouTube, and he will be going on tour as soon as lockdown's over. Thanks for coming on, and please enjoy the advert at the end of the show.
Nice one. Bye, Felicia.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks very, very much for watching. As always, guys, make sure you're subscribed to the channel below. Make sure you're following @HaveAWordPod on all the social media. And it would mean the world to us if you went away and supported our sponsors this week. That is manscaped.com. They are the best male grooming products on the planet. And you'll get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code WORD. That's WORD. Make sure you use that. That lets them know we sent you. And they slide us a bit of dough. And it keeps this shit running.
And our merch store is at haveawordpod.com. Get yourself a Have a Word Pod hoodie, t-shirt, all the merch is there at haveawordpod.com. Thanks for watching. Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia. Become a Patreon too. Don't be a pussy.